Hello, filter-free America listeners. We are back together again, and I am so happy that has happened. I am especially happy because this is a fantastic episode of the Filter-Free America podcast. Now, I say that knowing very well that every episode we create here at the Filter Free America Podcast Factory is pretty fucking fantastic. But I'll tell you what, this episode right here is a doozy, okay? Not only is it a large chunk of a podcast, this one's like a 2-hour plus banger, okay? So my apologies if you guys don't like that long of podcasts. Sometimes these conversations, I've said this many times before. I'll disclaim it once again. Microphone peaking just a little bit. Let me crank that down. I don't put any restrictions on the conversation. I have two goals. I have one, I want to have a really good conversation, and I want my guest to be, if they're telling a story or explaining me something or teaching me something, I want them to have every opportunity to do it. Okay, that's the way it is. But this podcast here was an example of just good quality conversation happening, and there was just so much content. You definitely don't want to trim this down, because I don't do that. I don't want to trim it down, right? And I just wanted to have it and let it be or organically form, okay? And that's what this podcast is a fantastic conversation. Let me tell you, number one, about the guest. The guest is a fairly new friend of mine that I met through another friend. What he does as a profession, not so important. He is a rugby player. He does want me to promote that he does play for the St. Cloud Feeders. St. Cloud Feeders is the name of his rugby team. If you want to find more information about his rugby team, go to stcloudrugby.org. stcloudrugby.org. So go Feeders. If you guys are listening, I hope you guys are listening, supporting your teammate. That's not important. What I brought him in to talk to him about is he is an immigrant to this country, right? He moved here at the age of 16 from Nairobi, Kenya. All right. My friend's his name is Moses. Let me take my time here pronouncing his last name. I practiced it, spelled it out phonetically. I'm going to get it right. Moses is his first name. Last name is Onyangure. Onyangure is how it's pronounced. I think I've did that very well. I practiced very much. But Moses came in to tell me about Kenya, right? And he's one of those guests that when I meet him and say, hey, dude, you know what? You'd make a great guest for the podcast. I was like, oh, what am I going to talk about? You know, what am I going to, I don't really have anything to say. I was like, dude, you are the story, right? Your immigration story is interesting content, right? Your life, your 16 years you spent in Kenya is interesting to people who've never been to Kenya. I've never been to Kenya. I can barely find it on a map. That's true. I want to know what your life was like. I want to know what you were thinking about America when you were living there. I want to know, what was going through your head when you came here. I want to know all of these things. And that's what we talked about, right? So here's some of the things that we cover. We cover, he gives me a little bit of education about the fact that it happened and the impact of British colonization in Kenya, the current state of Kenyan's government, what else? Expectations of what he had of America, his idea and visions of America versus the reality when he got here. So you get all that stuff in there too. But we didn't even stop there, because then we kind of spool off into some really deep conversation where we get into race relations from many different angles, between white and minority, race relations between African black people and American black people. And basically, and then from there, we went even deeper and just kind of going through, trying to understand our fellow man and how to communicate with each other and trying to break down walls and stigmas and things like that, and trying to, to mind model, if you will, solutions to help bring people together, right? Because that's something I support. I mean, maybe not everybody listens to this podcast thinks that people need to come together and unify and be collectively a people, but I support that, and if you don't believe that, it's not an angle that you side with, give this podcast a listen. Don't give up on it yet, just for me saying that. But listen to two people talking, two people from two very vastly different worlds at birth, talking and reflecting over our lives and coming together, finding commonalities and differences and enjoying the conversation in the middle. Uh, that's, if anything, I think you should be able to appreciate that. What else do we cover? We cover the race relations things. Oh, it does end up with a very crazy story. Just by happenstance, before he came over, I had fed the studio snake Sissy, the 7-foot red-tailed boa constrictor that lives here in the Filter Free America studio bunker. I fed her ration of guinea pig, and he knew there was a snake here, and he is terrified of snakes, terrified of them, right? And rightfully so, because he comes from a place on the planet where every snake will kill you, right? Black mambas, green mambas, spitting cobras, right? They'll kill you. So he has a naturally ingrained fear of snakes, right? On top of that, some of their cultural myths growing up were about snakes as well too, and he gets into that and describes that kind of the last story of this thing, and it's really worth it to kind of hang on to the end of the episode because that is the treat at the end. It's a crazy story, but long story short, as soon as we get done recording, I took him upstairs. I didn't want to get out the snake down here, Sissy, because she just ate. It's not good to handle snakes after they ate. But my other snake upstairs, Ghosty, our ghost gun is her full name, but we call her Ghosty. She was available to be held and touched. He didn't want, and while he didn't hold her, I did get the snake out of a tank, and he touched the snake, and he helped tackle some of his fears of snakes. So that was very cool too. But I'm telling you, the whole episode, totally worth the time to invest in listening to all of it. And I definitely hope you do. I hope if you have to do a couple sessions, maybe go to the gym 2 times in a day, right? Something like that, or half one day, half the next day, whatever you got to do. It's definitely worth your time. A couple of things I want to cover before we get going. I don't want to make this too long because, like I said, it's a long episode to begin with. Real fast, let me knock out the sponsor, simplewebsite.us, simplewebsite.us, simplewebsite.us. That is the place that you go when you would like someone to either completely build you a website on Squarespace, without you having to do anything, or if you just want a little bit of help, they do all of that and in between, and they even got a section where you can get some free tips and tricks to do it on your own. But that is what they do. They are like a middleman between you and Squarespace, right? If you'd like an example of a website that they built, please go to filterfreeamerica.com, filterfreeamerica.com, America always misspelled intentionally with a K. And check out their website. They did build that and maintain that for me. So it's a very good example of some of the work they do, but it's not limited to that as well. They can make all your website dreams come true if you go to simplewebsite.us. One other thing of importance, the next episode that I'm going to be loading up here, maybe, and I'm not embellishing in any kind of way, maybe one of the most important or the most important episodes that I'll ever release on this podcast, at least to date. Okay. I'm not going to give you a lot of details. I'm just going to bait you in a little bit and get you excited for it. But I have got the opportunity. And first, let me disclaim this. This is going to be one of those very rare times where I do a phone interview. Okay. And that's just, I didn't have the available income to travel to where the guests were. And so geography was an issue, right? But I felt this was such an important topic, an important story, and important conversations to have that we're going to do a phone interview type recording thing. And trust me, it's going to be worth it. Again, I'm not going to give you a lot of details, but long story short, I'm going to speak to both the victim of and the wife of a former police officer who raped an underage child. And the underage child is one of the guests, okay? And so all the trigger warnings that I could possibly give, I'll give them when the episode starts, when I release it. And also I'm giving it to it now. But you're going to hear a very descriptive account of a victim of sexual assault who was anally raped by a now former police officer. And not only is that bad in itself, but just how everything went down as far as the criminal case and the punishment, quote unquote punishment. It's disturbing because right now, today, as of this recording, that former police officer who anally raped a 6-year-old child, is free on probation, house arrest type situation, but he is free, not going back to prison unless he messes up. He essentially did almost zero time, and it is a ridiculous story of how this went down. Some of you who follow these stories, you guys probably know which one I'm talking about. Happened in the Pennsylvania area. But again, these two people who through another friend were turned on to me in this podcast, and knew that I was very passionate about situations like this, and they really want to draw attention to it because Pennsylvania state government and justice system has failed here, and it's really bad. So you're going to hear both me talking to individually in recordings of the victim, who was 16 at the time, and the wife who of the actual former cop rapist, are both going to talk to me, tell me their stories from their perspectives and how it all went down. And it is going to be a very powerful episode. So much so that I really, really hope that not only do you guys listen to this episode that I'm describing, but you please take time to share that episode. If you share no other episode of this podcast, please share that next episode that I'm describing to you that's coming up. Okay. Because like I said, it's truly tragic how things went down in their lives and how the justice system really failed them, and why this rapist now is on the streets. This sexual predator is on the streets now, essentially without nothing to worry about. And I would love to help in some kind of way, draw attention to that. And if we don't do anything that helps them directly, that the next victim or potential victim to come along gets some kind of benefit from them taking the chance with me, telling me this story in a long form interview form that you're not going to get anywhere else on the planet right now. And just do your part, share the episode, draw attention to it, and understand that this stuff goes down in many places throughout the country. But again, that's the next episode. I don't want to bring this episode down because the one you're getting ready to listen to right now is a dope episode. There's lots of positive to it. We have fun. We laugh. We talk about some serious shit, and you're really going to enjoy that too. Did I miss anything else? Oh yeah. Make sure you take time to subscribe to the podcast. Wherever you're listening, please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure you rate and review the podcast. You guys have been doing it. It's definitely helping. Keep doing it. It's helping me out a lot, expanding the reach of the podcast. Anything else? Oh, also, please, anybody out there owns a company who could benefit from advertisement in regards to, like online sales, or maybe you're here in the Twin Cities area and you want to promote, or anybody who thinks they could benefit from the reach of the Filter Free America podcast, which is continually growing daily, please contact me via the website if you'd like, filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. Or excuse me, filterfreeamerica.com is the website. There's a place to contact me there, and we can talk about ways that you can advertise on the podcast. And trust me, it's going to be very affordable right now. My reach isn't gigantic. It's not Rogan-esque. Definitely not Rogan-esque. But it's enough to be substantial, and I would love to talk to you about it and get you on board to help you, or get you to help me promote the podcast while I'm promoting your products. So again, filterfreeamerica.com, filterfreeamerica, America always misspelled with a K.com. There's a quick and easy way for you to contact me and shoot me a number or a message or whatever, and we'll talk about it. All right. Are you guys ready to start this episode? I already did the intro too long, but whatever. There's a lot to talk about there, especially with the next episode coming up. I wanted to prime you for that one. So we need a name for the episode, right? And I did take the time to consider the name before I recorded this, in essence of saving time. And it was an easy one to come up with, quite honestly. So we're going to call this episode, I'm an Immigrant from Kenya with Moses Onyangure. Right? You like that? That's perfect. It's to the point. It says exactly what we're talking about. So it's going to be, I'm an Immigrant from Kenya with Moses Onyangure right here on Filter Free America. Let's go. Okay, sir. Why don't you start by just telling me your earliest memories, or just give me a little bit of a taste for what life was like as you remember it from the youngest point in Kenya.
My earliest memories, I feel like it'll start like when me and my mom lived in like a little house made of made of iron sheets,
Okay.
and it was like an apartment, but it was just one level. And then the landlord coming home singing drunk songs on the way back, and I remember one time there was a fight outside, and it was
Well, hold on a second. What about the apartment? Give me a more detailed visual. When you say iron side, are we talking dirt floor? Are we talking?
it was
What
it
are we
was
talking
like concrete floors, right? And
Okay.
then we call it mabati,
Mhm.
but it's iron sheets. The sheets they use to roof,
Mhm.
but they're super loud. So like in warehouses.
Right.
So that same, it's just to like cover you. It's like no air conditioning and
That was going to be my
a
next question.
door.
Where we got plumbing? Do we have central air?
No,
Do we have,
no plumbing,
no
we
cable?
use pit latrines. No, come on now.
How do you listen to the podcast? Where's the internet at?
Now it's different. See, I was
Yes.
born in like '87, so
Right.
like in the '90s, like
How old are you now to give people perspective?
I'm 31.
31. Okay.
So back then there was only one vehicle for like the whole neighborhood if somebody
What?
was sick. So it's like if somebody is sick, we have to
You remember
ask
what kind of
some-
car
and
it
we
was?
were poor. Like
What kind of car was it? Do you remember? Was it a...
I don't know. Volks. No. I can't remember, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
What are common cars back then? Is it
there
American
was
or
a couple
imports? or-
Mazda.
Okay, so it's some
Oh
imports?
no, there's no American cars. I saw
Oh.
one Ford.
One Ford. Okay.
That's it. These days I can see like the Chevys and like, yeah.
Okay.
But Tacomas, Toyotas.
Lots of
I think
Toyotas.
that's why you see them a lot in terrorist videos.
Because they're just over there.
They're so worldwide and
Approved by terrorists.
yeah,
all
and
over the country.
and everybody swears by a Toyota.
They're good cars.
They are good cars.
They're really good for
phenomenal
hauling
cars.
wood or hauling missiles to shoot at each other. Or
Dude, if
you
you
can
want to
strap guns on the back of them. They're
yeah,
great.
if you want to know somebody lives in this house, if you want to know a Kenyan or an Asian lives in this house, just count the number of Toyotas in a driveway. I swear it's 50-50. Flip a coin. It's a Kenyan or a person from Asia. It's a stereotype. Stereotypes are bad, but
Right.
it is very, very freaking true.
But sometimes they're true.
That's why there's stereotypes. It's like watermelon, dude.
Right.
It's like, question.
Do
Do
you-
you like watermelons? Yeah, I like them too. But it so happens that somebody highlighted the fact that we like them. And
Right. I don't know.
just to add perspective, I'm African American, so
Right.
that's why we like watermelons. and-
You're from Nairobi, Kenya, so
I
it
am
was
from Nairobi,
Pretty good
Kenya.
odds. Your
Dude,
name is Moses.
you
I don't know
never-
any white dudes from Nairobi, Cameron named
dude, you never
Moses.
know. I play rugby with this kid. His name is Rowan, and then everybody did not know because he's white, and everybody's like, "Wait, you're African? Oh yeah, I'm African from South Africa, man." I'm like, "Okay, all right, Rowan."
Well, that's a different kind of
It
African
is a
right there.
different
That's
one,
kinda
yeah.
fun.
But yeah, though it's just crazy though. But anyway, so the tin. See, I told you, I veer off.
That's good.
So
man.
the tin buildings and like the one car, and then I remember my dad moving back because he went to school in India.
right.
So he comes back. I remember
What
that
did he go to school for?
accounting,
Okay.
and he comes back and he has a beard, and I swear to God, I was so scared of that man. It took me like 3 days to even
Like a big beard or like a
huge, like, you know how beards were big back then, and beards are really big in India.
Okay.
So if you have a good strong beard, don't shave it off. You fit right in with everybody else. So he came back.
What's the cultural angle on beards there? Is it a sign of
Sorry.
strength? Is it a sign of
I think it could be like because all the
you get more pussy when you got a beard? Do you get more?
I don't know, man. I think it's a religion thing, bro.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I swear to God, like almost all of them, like they respect the freaking beard like nobody's business, man.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so I scared of him, and then that's when we started moving up, and then we moved to like a brick building apartment, and then
Are we still with no central air?
no, there's no central air. There's
all?
actually no central air. It's not very common in Kenya.
Okay.
Like the
Average summer
temperatures-
temperatures, or what's the average summer temperature?
I think it's very hard because it's degrees in Celsius. It's
Oh,
about
yeah.
24
So it's a 30-degree difference, isn't that right? My
I want to
GED
say
is
about
so-
80 degrees of Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Between 85 to like 90.
So 110.
No, that's Kuwait weather, bro.
Oh, okay. So that quite that. Okay.
Yeah, that is Kuwait
Oh, you're talking.
weather.
Okay, you got you. 80-degree regular. Okay.
Yeah.
It's still warm enough that you want to have some coolness.
That is true, man. But I've noticed a lot, and another stereotype again. My girlfriend is white, and she would, in the middle of smack winter, she would have the window open. I do not understand.
Confession. I assume that you are temperature sensitive.
I'm very temperature sensitive.
So we've
I
had
like
our heater
warm.
off already.
Yeah.
I turned it on today because I was like, well, it's like 60 degrees in here. He's probably going to be cold as shit. It's going to feel like 40 to him. So
Yeah.
let me turn the heat back on.
Yeah. I would like be shivering like a. Yeah. So no central air.
I even
still.
got the little floor heater going over there to keep the room in here.
You
warmer.
know the house that we moved in after that break, because we moved into a bungalow,
Right.
and that's like it's a self-contained house with a yard. That's when my dad got his last promotion before he moved here.
This is we upper middle class level here.
That's when we came up a middle class, and that's when he got his promotion. And even that did not have air conditioning, but he had a heater.
okay.
We had a heater, but no air conditioning. Like we don't give a shit about air conditioning.
But is plumbing all a thing though?
Oh, but
running water, water heaters, all that.
See, but the house that when we hit upper middle class, that house had plumbing.
Okay.
That was the first house that had plumbing, and that's when they started rationing water
Okay.
back and forth. People will come to our house to get water.
What about sanitation of water? Can you drink water right out of the tap, or do you have to boil water? Do you have to get bottled water?
I ain't dead yet.
You ain't dead.
I mean, it's so those when the Europeans colonized Kenya, or when the English colonized the English,
Right.
so proper.
Right.
When they colonized us, they imported workers and built. So the house actually we lived in were government housing, pre-colonial era, noblemen.
Got that influence
buildings.
to it.
Yes, a lot of influence. So we had servant quarters and all that jazz. It was weird.
Where all the white servants were working, right?
Yeah. No, it was crazy.
What is your view, and what's the general view of Kenyans now about colonization? Do you think that do they look at it as a positive thing, as a negative thing? Do they somewhere in between?
Okay. I'm going to give you context here, okay?
Sure.
So the Europeans also introduced religion at the same time.
Okay.
So I feel like Kenyans almost live by it. So like we're influenced because I followed the Premier League.
Okay.
That's an English thing.
Right.
I played cricket. Now I play rugby.
Right.
See how hard I'm influenced right now? We didn't care as much about because they brought a lot of development, which was good. They, however, did set borders that create constant conflict.
Right.
That was the only bad thing that we blame them for. But other than that, like we let them live. We're very forgiving. That's the one thing.
What about how to say this the right way? How were they looked at? Because I don't know a lot about the demographic between the English and Kenyans, or any of the places that the English colonized. To be honest, did they look as Kenyans as equals? Did they look at them as less than white? Did they look at them? Do you know anything about that or current vibe?
See, a lot of them moved back.
Okay.
See, that's the other thing. A lot of them moved back. They do own a lot of the land, like Del Monte, the Leakey family,
Right.
the guy who discovered a lot of
they're definitely still pillaging and still
yeah, they still own.
They're not
going to
leave anything valuable behind.
Yeah, but that's why they call it. Why do you think the pound is so strong? Because
they got income sources.
They
and
got
other things
income sources
with no
everywhere.
overhead.
Yeah, no freaking
saying?
overhead. It's like running a business and
Yeah,
you're not putting any money into it.
exactly.
Basically. So and the people who they gave power to are the people who are still in power.
Okay.
So when they get the first president of Kenya was President Jomo Kenyatta, right?
Okay. I didn't know that. I'm assuming you're right.
Just so you know. And also, if there are any Kenyan fans listening, these are just my opinions.
Okay.
I might not represent in the right way, so don't hate me. But the first president, Jomo Kenyatta, right, had a famous quote that went like this. He goes, the white man came and gave you religion and taught you how to pray, and while your eyes were closed, they took all our land.
think I've either heard that quote or a variant of that quote.
Yeah, there's a variation of it. But then when he took over, pillaged land too. Like they have so much land that when the constitution was changed, if you have land and there's nothing going on it, the government can take it back. So they started planting trees. Like they're not using it. Like just give it to the poor. Anyways,
they still own it, but they're not they're not doing nothing with it.
The current president right now is the firstborn to the president, the first president.
So let's talk about that for a little bit, so we can clear up what is the form of government?
It's a democracy, but it's
democracy in name only.
It's a democracy in name only. A lot of African countries are democracy by name,
right?
Until some military coup takes over, most of them are. But they've been good so far. Like you don't hear a lot about Kenya, right? Like we're never in like a conflict. Like you know how you hear about different countries being in conflict, fighting each other. Like just an example, Sudan, right? They've been fighting for such a long time. Another thing where the borders were put and screwed up everything.
Is that because there is so much profit being made by other
Western countries?
Yes. That they don't want the disruption of war. So maybe there's people should look at that.
Man,
like,
dude, we have
the other countries that are in wars are ones we don't have established yet, and we haven't taken over yet.
We have so many theories about that, but considering, so let's say somebody comes into your place, takes all your land, and gives you some of it and most of the riches, and they're like, if you keep up the people organized, we will keep you in power.
Right.
That's it. So
I when you say that, and I look at American politics, I think much the same way. When I look at some of the groups of people who claim to be working for minority groups, you know, and they are those minorities themselves. I don't have to say any names. People can use their own imagination.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the same way. It's like you're lifted to a little bit higher level.
Yeah.
And you're given maybe a little bit more flexibility, and you're fed a little bit better food. And this is all metaphoric in a way, but we need you to help us control this. We don't want people thinking too much. We don't want people asking too many questions.
I mean, it's just that same concept, but it's illegal in Africa because it's called corruption, right? Bribing and stuff like that. Or actually, not even that. Like you heard about the Brazil thing where the president was making so much money, just allowing companies build whatever they want to build. And
I'm not remembering it right now. But
no, it wasn't major news.
Okay.
It was like, it's one of those articles that you run into and you're like, what's that?
Yeah, kind of.
And then, and then you keep reading, and then it was the president of Peru shot himself. The former president of Peru shot himself, right?
Shot himself in quotes, like
he literally put a gun on his head and shot himself, right?
I never trust that when it's a world leader.
Yeah, and then he was a former president, but then I kept reading, and then I clicked on another article.
Hold on, I do remember that story.
Yeah,
it just dawned on me. Okay, this is fairly recent.
It is very, very freaking recent.
Yeah.
So I kept reading, and I kept hitting articles, and then I ran into they were involved in a shell company, and it was outside a courthouse, and he knew he was gonna go to jail for corruption, so he was like, "Fuck it, I'm out. Peace." Wow. Sad, but.
See how always there was witnesses to the shooting? Was that?
I don't know. They took him to hospital. Like
I'm always skeptical whenever there's corruption and stuff, and then the guy who's the head of it, he shot himself, and
I know. I had the same thought. I was like, "Are you sure he shot himself?" Like, did you guys just were like, he's gonna take us down, guys? So
all the people that he was in business with investigated it and said he shot himself, and they all washed their hands after the investigation.
Quotations. Exactly. I'm telling you, it's just one of those crazy things. Like, so I kept on going like that. So I feel like that's how it is in Kenya too. Like, there's money coming in, somebody's making the money, but it's not the people. So
what are the biggest exports? What are the most valuable resources in Kenya right now?
We have tea, kofefe, and tourism.
There's no mining.
There's huge.
There's no
there's so
gold,
minor.
diamond.
No,
really?
No.
We're there. Okay.
In Kenya, there's not. Kenya has been very, very conservative when it came to like pillaging the resources.
Okay.
They said they discovered oil somewhere, but there was nothing to it.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have anything like of that huge value, but tourism,
Interesting.
my man.
Well, that's what I said growing up as in school. That's the only city in Kenya that I could knew was Nairobi.
Yes,
And
and
it
it's
was always-
also the only city.
Is it the capital, right?
It is the capital,
Okay.
and it's the only city that you can actually um interact with wildlife from the city.
Okay.
So like we've had a couple of times when back to the beginning of the story where I said like we were living in the tin whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a curfew for 6 o'clock because a leopard escaped the
Holy shit.
the place, the Nairobi National Park.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like it's the only area where
I've seen videos of leopards in areas
in cities, yeah,
that look like what you're describing.
Because
and it
it's-
may have been a video from Kenya. It might have been what I was looking at.
yeah, it could have been like it, and it
Did
was
you ever have like a friend like get attacked by
no,
a leopard?
that would have been crazy, wouldn't it?
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, hippo story,
Hippo story.
yeah.
Let's go to the hippo story.
So we are in we're up in whatchamacallit, in Kisumu. No, Rusinga Island.
Okay.
Rusinga Island is a little island right in Lake Victoria.
Okay.
It's second largest lake,
I would have to look
freshwater
it up
lake in the
to
world.
recognize it, but I
Yeah,
take your word
it's
for it.
if you see the map of Africa, that lake is
Oh, the big lake.
the big one.
It's like a little ocean inside the country.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The one that River Nile
Yeah. Okay.
runs from or whatever, or
Gotcha.
runs to. Shit, I don't know.
Runs. Yeah, I think it runs.
No,
to.
it runs to the Mediterranean.
Right.
So it starts from Lake Victoria.
It doesn't go from the Mediterranean to the lake.
I'm confused now. I can't remember.
I'll check.
But it's a
one way.
freshwater lake.
It's one of those. Oh, so yeah, you're
So
right.
it
It's
has
probably
to
a
be
spring.
so it has to be coming from Lake Victoria into Mediterranean.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Good call.
Yeah, anyways, I was talking the hippo
Hippos.
story. So when the tides are high, so we have to walk a little further in to go, because we wake up in the morning instead of taking a shower,
You're
we'll
already giving me the chills, man.
yeah, we just jump into the lake or whatever.
Are we talking alligators too, or crocodiles?
There's crocodiles, yeah.
Crocodiles.
yeah,
Fucking
but
hippos are vicious.
hippos are vicious, but they don't. Where people live, they really don't. The hippos don't give a shit.
Right.
The hippos want food,
Right.
and when they want food, they'll go to where the people are, so they will like pillage and
Eat your vegetables and
eat
crops.
your vegetables and crops or whatever. So that we went further in to swim, and all of a sudden we see it looks like a whale thing. 2 water spouts just go, and we were like,
His nostrils blowing out water.
fuck, yeah. We were like, we got to go.
Holy shit.
This mother started coming out of the water, so we were like, oh well, we're fucked. So we started running up the hill, and they can actually run, but once they go down the hill, they stop. So it didn't get really that close, but we were chased by it. Like it was just like it was catching up, going up the hill, and I'm losing my
They're
mind.
just trying to
'cause
run you off, is what they're trying to do.
they bite people, so like so you're in their territory. They're freaking territorial, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like it's almost like I thought I was gonna die because
anybody-
one bite is like and I was 10, 11, I
Right.
think. One bite, I'm gone.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy, man. But
Has anybody
With
like you grew up
kids.
with, or did you ever see anybody like get like a baby hippo and like raise it and train it? And
no,
I thought that would be cool.
we're
Oh, you
not.
got a Rottweiler, huh? Look at my hippopotamus. None of that shit going
It's
on?
very rare to see stupid people do stupid things in,
Well, I'm
in
going to
Africa.
Kenya. I'm going to
Yeah.
show them some stupid people stuff.
I'm telling you, it's
I'm going to
very.
import some of this American stupid.
Did you ever watch America's Funniest Videos?
Yes.
I bet you there was no video from Kenya.
No.
Yeah, they did not do stupid shit. I bet you there isn't.
Oh, so when we get to the part about you moving here, it's going to be really good.
Oh goodness me! Yeah. Now the only thing is, I don't want to sound like I'm being raised. I'm just comparing, like the different
Exactly.
styles. Like I mean, I love you, man, because
I love
you're obviously a good person. You've invited me to this place, so thank you. But let me see your snake.
He's getting closer to you too.
Yeah, I know.
Something we should point out is number one is you're terrified of snakes.
I am freaking terrified.
And we're going to talk about why that is.
Yeah.
But sitting right 3 feet at the most from you is the studio snake Sissy, her tank. So it was very brave of you to come and sit down right next to it.
The eyes are perked up, man.
Yeah, and she literally just ate. Anybody who's listening to this, if you follow me on Facebook, go to my Facebook page. You can watch a video of her consuming a guinea pig. So she's well fed.
Damn.
But she notices people when she comes in, just like she's doing right now. She's coming over to check you out, and she's aware. And
he was all the way down at the corner. Now he's just like right next to me.
Yeah,
that's crazy though.
Yeah,
but he's pretty chill.
Yeah, she's
oh, it's a she.
Yeah,
she's pretty chill.
Both of mine are female. I think it's hard to get males. I think because they, when they sell them, they don't want to sell it where you can breed your own.
Oh yeah.
So they do. I think they just sell the one sex. I think that's
so they don't sell peckers.
No peckers. You get just a vagina, just snake vagina.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the government. We're going to jump around a little bit. I'm going to go back to some kid stuff, but if we're on kind of government last. So we say it's a democracy, but when it comes time for a new leader, is there a vote?
Yeah.
Are you voting on which family member you like the most? Is that how it works?
That is the funniest thing. The vote. The president decides, because the Electoral Commission is part of the government.
Of course it is.
So, like, there's no vote. Like, you guys just go to the boxes and put your ballots in, and then the Electoral Commission declares a winner. And almost every single, I don't know if the system was set up wrong. If I had all the solutions to the world, I'd be rich right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, but I don't know if the system was just set up wrong at the beginning, because the first president was there until he died. His vice president took over, and he was there until he decided to, I'm tired. I'm gonna retire now. And this is like every single year we're tired of him. We're gonna take him out. Obviously, the people who are more enthusiastic about the elections were the opposition leaders, who were also in the government at the same time. So, like, you're voting for an orange and a new orange.
Right.
You're not voting anybody new. It's this. I remember when I said, like, when we were just chatting, that
it's like the Hydra. You're just picking a different head.
Yeah, like when you look at that first picture of when Kenya got its freedom, when we got our freedom, if you look at that picture and you look at the people in the picture, you can actually pick out almost all the presidents.
They're all there.
Like, they're all there. And whatchamacallit, as I said, the first president's son is now the president. So he was probably there's probably a picture of him in the State House. We don't have the White House. It's called the State House in Kenya. It's white.
What is the from middle class to where the president is? What's the wealth disparity? How much more wealthy is the leading family of Kenya versus the middle class Kenyan?
I don't know exactly how much land they own, but those guys are loaded. They're so rich.
Like billions?
Billions.
Okay.
Actually, I do think the president of Kenya is somewhere in the rankings in the world.
Okay.
I think so. Somebody did, because he's like probably, no. He's the wealthiest president sitting in office right now, I think.
No shit.
I think so.
That wouldn't surprise me.
You know what? Research it after we're done.
We'll find out what it is.
Well, yeah, he's
that's your homework, listeners.
He's Google it. He's probably one of the top. I might be wrong, but when he was voted in,
so where does
he was considered very rich?
And you may not know, but where does that wealth come from? Is it just whatever the GDP of the country? He just like, here's my 90%, or what's the
we pay taxes and he takes it. I don't know. Yeah, like the level of corruption is ridiculous. Like if you work out a salary of a president, and the vice president is actually more of a story of someone who came up from almost nowhere, right? And he's the I think the deputy president, vice president, or whatever.
Okay.
And he built a hotel room, the one that Obama stayed at when he came to Kenya or whatever. And that fucker is so expensive.
Obama just stay in his house where he was born in Kenya?
No, it's so far. Obama's
I'm going to ask you about that. What is that? Not
It's
a
so
conspiracy
far away.
that I don't even care about that
Yeah.
conspiracy. I could care less where he came from. But
yeah,
I'm curious as a Kenyan,
yeah.
when you hear about Obama was born in Kenya, he's a Kenyan. What is your take on that? What is the people's? His brother lives there. Right?
Yeah, and his brother was like supporting Trump, I think.
Was he?
Yeah,
Oh my
I think
God.
so. Yeah, it's just a like, yeah, whatever. Anyways, so his brother. So we were actually very very proud of him. I feel like
Okay.
my dad was very. I remember when he got elected the first time I was in.
Well, I remember seeing videos from Kenya of
Yeah.
people like around the TV.
Everybody
like,
was
circling
stuck to their
around.
TV set. Yeah, like it's kind of funny how you
and
point
to be
that
fair,
out.
you know,
yeah.
like I don't pick sides in anything politically. I totally get it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice to see a black-skinned dude,
Yeah.
person,
I
in a
don't-
position in America
it
like
doesn't
that.
give you chills
worldwide.
like yeah if it doesn't. I mean, still the government is controlled by the people who pay for what do they call them donations.
Okay.
Yeah, it's controlled by donations, but technically if I was gonna call them donate and I'd listen, I
In
think
this
I
country,
li-
they're called campaign donations.
they call campaign donations, but in other countries they're called bribery. And
yeah, it's
I
the same
remember
thing.
somebody else broke it down. I think it was Trevor Noah.
Okay.
He broke it down Barney style, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah. that's
that
it.
makes so much sense. Like here, it's not called corruption. It's just named different. So you don't have to go to the Hague or whatever criminal court.
It's all terminology.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And I can basically like open.
Just like here, if you kill somebody in the street, here it's murder. If you drop a bomb on a village and you happen to kill 20 people, it's just
man, that shit is sad, man.
It's called oops.
Yeah, it's called an oops. He was like, we made a mistake.
Yep.
We're good. But if in the military, like if a soldier like fucks up or whatever, they go to Leonardwood, right?
Yeah. Or one of the
Yeah.
federal
But
military prisons.
But if a commander who's not even a commander, like if like we drop a bomb somewhere or sell a bomb to someone who proceeds to murder children and families and stuff, that's not, correct. That's not nice. That is shitty.
yeah.
That is fucked up. Like I don't know how to
It's
say
shitty to
it.
me is because a lot of the people, the tax-paying civilians kind of think
Yeah.
the same way. Well, it's war and things are different. How is it different?
No, it's not.
It's not. If I shoot you here, if I shoot you over there,
Yeah.
and I got a uniform on, I've still killed you.
I mean,
It's the same thing.
you ended a life basically.
Yeah.
That's
That's my take on it.
yeah. It's not right. I mean, and
Any other change to that is you're just trying to you get the rationale in your head. You're trying
Mm-hmm.
to rationalize it and try to make it safe for yourself so you can go to sleep at
yeah,
night.
and if you're
bad.
so Joe, if you're a person who listens to sense, right?
Mhm.
If somebody tells you that it's if somebody comes in and because I thought it was okay, like I was like, oh yeah, collateral damage,
Right.
fuck it, but my opinions have changed over time,
Mine
like
too.
as I have evolved as
as a human.
a human
Yeah.
from when I was like super conservative Christian and go to church every Saturday, didn't even work, didn't cook, didn't do
Funny how that worked.
from
The closer you were to religion, the less you were compassionate about
Yeah.
humanity. That's funny.
but then
I was
because
the
they
same
talk
way.
about war like nobody, like like David killed so many people, like life.
That's religion, again, a tool of control, just like we
It
talked
is.
about with the colonization.
Yeah, and
It's a way to keep things right
Uh-huh.
in your mind too. Well, we got to do this because
Yeah.
God says so, and God approved this, and we're fighting for freedom. No. It's all a religion. It's all a tool of control.
Oh, my
It's
God.
It's a verbal chain versus a metal chain. It's
oh
all it
my
is.
gosh, yeah, I can go on rants and rants, but it's one of those things, like I just look at it and I'm like, because if you die, basically you go to heaven, so you get a second chance.
Right.
But when we die, we're dead. So, I mean, you value life more. I value life a lot more now because I know I only have one. And if I'm going to make use of it, I'm going to freaking live my damn best.
That's the shell game, sacrifice while you're on earth. And you
No,
get
no,
your
no, no, no,
rewards
no,
in
no,
heaven.
no,
That's
no,
the-
no, no, no.
That's part of the game. That's part of the shell game, right there,
Dude,
right?
even saving money sometimes, it is so difficult. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I have so much money. Not so much. Like, I'm still in one coma area.
Right. Doing better than me. But
Yeah. I'm still in the one like, and usually we just started paying for daycare, bro.
Right.
It comes in and then everything is out.
Right.
So like you start saving like $50 to $100 or here and there or whatever. And one day I was looking at it and I was like, why am I so worried about money? Like, whatever, man. Like, maybe I'm not going to have it tomorrow. Then we'll figure it out.
Right.
Like, just enjoy your life. Like, don't worry about money. Just enjoy your life. Like, those are one of those things, like, it has evolved so much that I thought, like, we'll have, like, milk and honey in heaven and
The whole deal.
the whole deal, man. I thought the trumpet was going to sound and we are going to go up in the clouds. And I was like, damn, bro. No?
No, not that.
Ah, fudge.
Well, I want to get more into that about that transition there, but let's go
Yeah.
back again, back to kind of like your childhood, because you're getting ready to tell me a story about there. But what was childhood like? What were your pastimes, and more importantly, what was this place called America? What were you? What was it in your mind at that time? And
I wanted to come to America so bad, man.
from when? When was your first thought? What was your first even
My uncle,
idea of America?
my uncle came back to visit once, and we picked him up from the airport. First of all, the airport is nice, man. I loved going to the airport because it was the most. It had the most plumbing.
That was the apex of technology. Was the airport?
Yeah, they had so many TVs. It was just amazing, and just cool people were there. Like
Right.
people were all dressed up. Like
Do they have a Cinnabon at your airport too? Do they have? one
no,
of
they
those
have a place called Java Coffee.
there? Okay, I like it already.
Yeah, and it's so posh. Like we called it just posh.
Right.
And I wanted to fit in a car to go to the airport. So
Is it Starbucks now, like here?
it's Starbucks, yeah.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
my thought of America back then was it looks like the airport, but everywhere looks like the airport. And so like I wanted to go there so bad. So when my uncle came back from, because my uncle moved to the U.S. like a long time ago, like in the 80s or whatever.
Okay.
And he would come back and he would treat everybody out. Like we'll go to restaurants. He bought a car, and that was a car that we usually all packed in to drive to cause I'm Kisi. So like I belong to a certain tribe.
Oh, that's your tribe's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like right south of Lake Victoria or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm Kisi, and we live in Nairobi because my dad moved from. You grow up, you go to college, college, you want to find a job, you move to the city. So it's like when you move to Minneapolis from what's a small town?
Hibbing.
Yeah,
Minnesota?
from like Hibbing, Minnesota. So like where are you from?
For me, I'm from Southern Missouri.
Southern Missouri?
Yeah.
Did you live in a city?
The city I grew up in was about 30,000 ish people.
Yeah.
Little town with city. You have a city. It's a city.
No, that's a big enough city.
Yeah, it's big enough.
But 30,000 to like 3 million.
That's a hell of a jump.
Yeah, so like you just move out and go to the city. So we lived in a city. So when my uncle came back, we picked him up from the airport. We'll use that car to go to the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought like, there was so much money in America. And I wanted to go.
Is it just, was the view, everything's great there.
Yeah.
Everybody's open arms and you immediately become a millionaire.
Yeah. Like,
kind of thing.
yeah, when we got a green card, I thought.
Like winning lottery ticket? Is that-
Yeah, he was. Dude, I was in high school, right? I was in boarding school. And I'll call my mom or dad like once every 2 or 3 weeks or whatever because
You know, is that normal? Everybody goes to boarding school type thing? Is that common?
It's kind of okay. Not to treat my
Is that
own
is that a
horn.
wealthier thing?
Not to toot my own horn. I was pretty smart.
Okay.
So in 8th grade, we take this standardized exam,
Okay.
and they rank you, in your province. So you're ranked in every province, and
Interesting.
yeah. So out of 500, I had 413 marks.
So do provinces look at that as a point of competition?
Yeah,
Like
so-
our province got 90% people
Yeah.
in this percentile.
So
Oh,
the
okay.
provinces are ranked, and it's a big deal. Like it's one of those huge things. Like we took.
Is there like one province that's just a bunch of dumbasses that are just like, oh, look at old Dummyville over there. They don't got
you
nobody.
never know, man.
Is that what it is?
Everyone, you don't want to be last, obviously,
No shit.
but it moves around so much because I mean, there's like like the Nyanza province where I'm from,
Okay.
but we're not considered the smart. The Luos are considered themselves the smartest tribe in Kenya.
Okay.
There's like 40 tribes, so we've stereotypes too. So we have the guys who win marathons.
It's a microcosm of the
There's
world.
it's a very, very small amount of people
Right.
who run. There's like random tribes that will win those marathons or whatever, or those long races.
Oh, that's right.
But
The
it's-
Kenyans are the run. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a certain tribe.
Interesting.
They have longer legs. They have like a thinner torso. Like I'm fat, like I'm a
You're
tall.
fat? Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm a tall
You're
Kenyan
Kenyan
man.
fat.
Yeah, so like when I go to Kenya, it's like they know I am from the U.S. because I'm
look
bigger.
at this chubby American guy.
Yeah.
Now. He's over here.
And I'm considered a giant because the average height is lower. But yeah, so like so after high school, so when you take that exam, before we take the exam, we choose schools that we want to go to.
Okay.
So I chose Mangu and Lenana.
Are those specific types of education?
They're national schools. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're the ones that do the best.
Okay.
So I left something out. So the also the high schools at the end of the fourth year, which is Form 4, they also take a standardized exam to go to college, and then you could get qualified to get into college.
Okay.
And
Now, how about the education? Is this all tax funded, or are you paying for your education from?
it's from 1 to 8th grade is
Free?
is free,
Okay.
and then high school you have to pay.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the bigger the school, the more expensive it is. So like our school was pretty expensive. But
Dollar for dollar, what would it cost to complete your high school education in American dollars? What's the kind of the?
I want to say we used to pay about 30,000 shillings a year. It's probably gone up now.
Okay.
30,000 shillings is $300.
Okay.
But economically speaking, if you're comparing apples to apples, maybe that's not even the right term. If I was covering for also the inflation or the economic difference, that's a lot of money.
Right.
That's like
$300. $300.
$300. Yeah, 30. Okay, so it's like paying for college here.
Okay.
So you start paying for college, but then also college is but then college was paid for by the government too. So like if you get called into like Nairobi University or Kenyatta University, there was like 4 colleges or whatever. Damn, there was no education. Man, there was only 4 colleges. That was hard to get in then. Shit.
But you got in. Or no, you left.
Me, I skipped out, bro.
Right.
I learned, bro. I was in boarding school. I learned we're moving to, and my dad wanted me to take that last exam to go to college. I sold all my shit.
Really?
I came back home for a holiday, and my dad was like, "Are you going back?" Nope, sold everything. We're going to America.
Really?
I'm done. I'm not taking that exam. There's no way I'm going through that stress again. Because the eighth grade exam was so freaking hard, and I studied so long for it, and I was just tired of it. Like with my first year of high school, I fucked around so much. I was like, I am done with this school shit. So like, I love education, but it was one of those strict style British again.
Okay.
British education, because when I went there, Nairobi school, first of all, we were all got dumped in a rugby field.
Okay. Everybody had to play rugby.
Everybody had to play rugby, and then they win out the weak ones. By the time the school team is set, which is mostly Form 4, 12th graders, that team is good.
Really?
Because we got there 240 of us.
Is this a funneling system to the professional leagues?
They do, yeah. It is a funneling system to the not professional league, because rugby is also pretty racist sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Because you have to be you have to go to like if you look at like rugby, if you watch a Premier League,
I can't say I've sat and watched the whole game, but I've sat and watched some of it.
it's mostly like a class of people who can actually go. They have to have gone to like an academy or something. They just don't pick not just anyone.
There's no chance that some poor Kenyan kid who's just really, really good is going to make it.
Man, you have to be found so early, and then you have to go to like. It's so weird. I realized I came to that conclusion for myself when I was watching the South African League, and the commentators were talking about how those guys, and they're African American, they no not African, they're black. They play like backyard rugby, and I was like, they weren't in academies, and I was like, and I noticed, I was like, oh my god, this is one of the few rugby teams I have seen with a random array of there was a diversity in it.
Okay.
Like there was different people from, and this is South Africa, and I'm talking like, the population there is, mostly, black, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
heard about apartheid and
Oh yeah.
okay. And I started being a fan, and that's the Isuzu. I think Isuzu. I follow them on Twitter. They're pretty cool. But yeah, it's quite different. So anyway, back to the school thing. So when I was called up to that school, it's called Nairobi School. It's Prince of Wales before.
Okay.
It was a British-run school. So the education is like
Very tight. There's not a lot
Yep.
of goofing off. It's
you get corporal punishments.
really
Yeah.
What does corporal punishment consist of there?
Like
Ruler
taking
on
out
the
a
wrist, or-
take down a tree stump.
What?
Yeah, like the stump is inside. So if you really, really screw up, you can be punished to take out a tree. One teacher once
Hold on. What do you mean take out a?
like
Like
dig
they make
into,
you dig out?
yeah,
Dig out one out of the ground?
yeah, and then
Get
put
the
it back.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's so freaking bad. Yeah, it's one of those.
I'm thinking you're gonna say, oh, they smack us with a ruler.
No,
or they paddle
no.
us, No, they make you dig out fucking
You get a
trees.
freaking project, man. What was that?
Oy.
One teacher had me like clean. There was a guy, and some of
Were your
these
teachers Kenyan or
Yeah.
okay.
they're all Kenyans. No, there's different nationalities randomly here and there, but they're mostly Kenyan.
Okay.
There was a worker who was trimming a bush, and the teacher told me to sweep the pavement from the offices all the way to the classes. So every single time I'll go down and sweep all the leaves, dude is already cutting other leaves. So then I have to go back and do it all over again. So
And that was the point, to make you.
that was the point. Yeah, he just
What-
wanted me to feel like shit. So at the end of they take your free time because you have preps in the morning at I think, was it 5? I think.
Jesus.
And we wore
I'm not getting up
uniforms.
5 a.m. for shit.
Yeah,
Much less in a uniform.
yeah, we wore uniforms. Everything was timed. So
Is there any creativeness to the education? Is there
No.
art? Is there?
we
is
did
there-
have art. We had
Okay.
music. Like it's
Is there
there-
drama class?
yeah,
Is
there was drama classes.
Okay, so there's some.
Yeah, you could be diverse when it comes. You could be artistic, but what we want you to be.
Okay.
So we wore uniforms, right? So I was talking with my friends yesterday. I was like, I went through a huge personality crisis when I moved to the U.S. because that was the first time I had to choose my clothes to go to school.
Interesting.
So I wanted to dress like this one. I had to dress like that guy, and my dress was considered like, people nicknamed me Africa. It was like, would call me like, hey, what's up, Africa? And I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? Like I'll try to do my accent even harder,
All right.
I mean, it didn't faze me really, but
When you
yeah,
first
it
came
was
over here,
just
were you-
weird.
Were you wearing more traditional African
That's funny.
dress
No,
dashikis or anything like that? Or?
no.
Okay.
See, all the clothes that you throw that what's that place where they sell secondhand clothes here? Shit, this thing is big.
Snake is definitely
Yeah,
moving around a little bit now.
yeah. What do they call them?
Like what's that called? I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like what's the name of that? I'm just gapping it right now.
It's
Anyway, everybody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Secondhand stores, but
yeah. So it's secondhand stores. So all the clothes they throw away, they go to Africa, or
hold on a second.
or
How many T-shirts did you get after Super Bowls?
yeah.
That
See,
were-
I had no
losing
idea what a
teams.
Super Bowl was. But I had no idea what America it was crazy. So
The
all
Buffalo Bills again.
yeah.
4 years in a row.
So I had no idea. So they go we call them secondhand clothes, but they're so beat up.
Right.
Anyways, so yeah, that's what we wore. So it was like, yeah, we didn't. Even though we were upper middle class, my parents were such savers
Okay.
that they'll just buy secondhand clothes.
Just to keep saving some money.
Also, because we were four boys and we destroyed everything that they bought us, so they're not gonna go buy us. I mean, they bought us new stuff for church, but
well, we're going to get into that about the importance of religion. I want to
Yeah.
circle back to that. Well, answer this then about the economics. Then you say you're middle class to upper middle class in your time in Kenya. How bad is the lowest class? How poor is poor? Can you can you describe to me what life is for the poorest of poor in Kenya?
man,
Is it hungry
it's
in
sad.
the streets? Is it homeless? Is it
Yeah,
death from starvation? What's the
yeah, it's basically
that.
like in a city at least, like when I in a city when I was in Kenya 2 years ago, I would buy lunch for me and I'll just buy a second plate and hand it to a kid. Like this is how poor it is. At night, in the middle of the night, you'd leave a club and a kid will come up to you to ask for money. And that kid is not actually the one who is asking for money, it's their parent. So they will send their kids on the street at night.
wow?
And it was some of the like when it's poor, it's some of the saddest shit. And
Is there any kind of government infrastructure set
No.
up? Nothing.
nothing. And it's worse when it comes to like in a country or you have ever heard of the Dadaab?
The what?
There's this place called Dadaab. Oh, even right now there's a drought going on in Turkana. So like
Okay.
yeah, people dying like dead.
Wow.
Yeah, and there are different epidemics too. Like you hear like something like a kwashiorkor. That's a nutritional like people. It's where they just eat starch
Okay.
and they don't have any protein.
They're getting just fillers and they're not getting nutrients.
Yeah.
and not-
Yeah, or they start finding like leaves to cook or something like that in different places. It does get pretty dire. Like
Wow.
you need. When I was there,
Is there here, and it's part of the I guess quote unquote benefit of being in a wealthier country. There is social stigmas with poverty. Do you as a middle class, upper middle class person in Kenya, do you feel bad for them? Do you, and maybe not you personally, but do they pick on poor people? Like kids, you know how kids are. Is that become a
No.
point of contention there? Is like,
we never did, man.
It's
Like, I mean, we did hang out more in our social class, because we lived in a certain area. But
and then what about the kids who were at the top economically? Did they?
man, I never
Did they
hung out with the
flex a little
kids in
bit,
the
or-
top. Yeah, oh yeah, they flex.
Okay.
They flex. They will show up to like the movie theaters with. I actually didn't even go to movie theaters when I was in Kenya because my parents were so freaking religious. I started going to movie theaters here, or they'll show up to like public places where we're playing soccer or whatever, or with their parents' car they stole or something, and it was just they'll show up to like there's this place where we used to go play arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
So they will show us up. Like, how did they show you up when you were little? Like when did kids?
Like, oh, I got a full belly. I ate 3 meals today.
Oh.
That's pretty much. That's the lowest of the low attack. There is just how.
Man, that sucks though.
Look at that. We eat a healthy meal every day. That's pretty insulting.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know that was insulting.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I grew up poor
Yeah.
relative to America,
Yeah.
and that's why I ended up hanging up with like a lot of minorities,
Yeah.
because the school I went to was like, as far as junior high and high school, it was like you were wealthy or you weren't,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that. There was no real middle-ish class there, kind of.
Yeah.
And so I ended up hanging with the poor kids. In America, of course, majority of the poor people are oftentimes minorities. So that's where I ended up hanging out with. So there was, I can remember some stigma things there, like being on free lunch, getting a free lunch bought for us, which is, I guess, to some place
see-
like Kenya where you don't have any food, it's
For me,
It
when
sounds
I
like
came
wealth.
to the U.S. and we qualified for and I love Minnesota for that. Like I think that's why immigrants love coming to Minnesota.
it does. It's a great place to start if you're moving
Yeah.
here with nothing.
Because we had a person who like helped us. Like there were ladies who would come to because we stayed with my my uncle for a little while my dad was still figuring his job back in Kenya or whatever, and we were trying to figure out my mom was trying to look for a job. It's trying to blend in and trying to find an apartment so we were not a burden to our uncle or whatever.
Right.
When I went to school and I got that free lunch, was like, hell yeah, I got free lunch, man. I was so happy about it. I appreciated it. I was like,
It's all
heck yeah,
perspective, man.
it is all like, so,
All of
wow.
that is.
I did not know that. Thanks.
Yeah.
I did not see that. I guess maybe I was a douchebag when I was little. Because, I mean, our maid used to bring us food during lunch. So he had like hot food at lunch and other kids. Damn that. But we shared a lot. Like Kenyan norms are like you're taught in school to be courteous. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taught in school to be courteous, like say thank you, you're welcome. Like they teach that in school, like they call it home science. It's a subject. And then they teach you how to sew. It's freaking weird.
I did that. Back when they had home ec classes, I did that.
Yeah,
Because I did in home ec class, we had like the little straight pins you use, like when we were like in the sewing room with the sewing machines.
Yeah.
And the little straight pins, and I was like throwing like the little straight pins into the electric socket, like not sticking it in there and shocking myself. I wasn't dumb. I would just toss them in there, and then I blew out the whole circuit board of the.
Did they like give you projects?
They tried. I was a fuck up in school, man. You know, I like in retrospect now in life, like I'm trying to catch back up. I consume books like crazy. I like to study. I like to read stuff I should have been doing back in school. I'm trying to get myself back.
To be honest, I feel the same way too. Like now is when I actually like try to see from different perspectives.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I spent my first 30 years just being I say I didn't really start growing up.
Yeah.
Till about 25 to 27.
Well, I didn't start
before there. I was completely just oblivious to what was going on around me for the most part, and didn't care, and very selfish, and still am in a lot of degrees. To be, quite frank, I still have my moments of weakness.
If you're not selfish, you're not living.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, but school here was a lot different than from Kenya, man. But yeah, I loved it.
Well, I want to get to that when you move back here. So let's go back to what about? I want to know about drugs. What are the vices in Kenya? Is it prostitution? Is it drugs? If it's drugs, what kind of drugs is it?
Prostitutes were at K Street.
We got down.
Yeah, Koinange Street. Like when we.
What makes a Kenyan prostitute? Is it economics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to college.
Is it looked at as like here? It's like, oh yuck, she's a prostitute, or is it like, oh well, that's what she does for a living? She's a prostitute.
See, that's hard because.
I know you guys got a big religious component there.
Yeah, there's a religious component, and because there was a time where you could have more than one wife. So my grandpa had 3 wives.
Really?
Yeah. So like
all living together, one big happy family.
It was a communal. It was not. The secret was they lived so far away from each other, dude.
Like that's the secret here. Yeah, you can't let them find out.
Like when my grandma sent me to go get milk because her cows were dry. And just to go get milk from, the other one. It was a trek, man.
Right.
It took us about 30 minutes to get there, and it took us about 30 minutes to come back.
So is marriage like a legal thing there, or is it
now? It's becoming. I think my cousin has 2, but they don't know that they're married to the same man. Like I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
She doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. Sorry, I'm not gonna mention any names.
I got listeners in Kenya, man. I got them, man. I got them all.
Oh man, that would be bad. Wow, that would be really bad. Sorry for outing you, bro. But anyways, yeah.
Start making phone calls now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird. Okay, so the religion aspect, you can't drink.
There's no alcohol?
No. You're not supposed to. You're looked at as a drunk.
Do they sell it in the?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, when I went to the bar.
So they have bars. They have all this stuff.
Socially
you're not supposed to, but it's there.
Socially, I wasn't able to access it when I was younger because I was zoned in to like going to church every weekend.
Oh, okay.
And then I will go to church. I always say this, like church stole my childhood because Friday night we'll go to church. And then we'll come back home, and then we'll go to church in the morning on Saturday, and we'll stay there. I will sneak out to go watch Manchester United.
Nice.
That's the only thing I did.
And what I guess actually we should talk about that as far as the context. Now, explain how religion came to Kenya.
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny.
And then and explain how the different tribes and different religions and all that. Give people an idea of why they are what they are.
So as usual. When when they were the explorers came with missionaries, So when the explorers came, they came with their stupid. I want to say that maybe it's a good concept. I guess religion is kind of a good concept. It's like your own. It's like your world. You know,
Right.
like you see life differently, and it makes you. It makes a lot of people happy. So it's not all bad.
Does it make it happy? Well, this is a philosophical question here. Does it make him happy, or does
I don't know, man.
or
Like
does it pacify fear?
they seem so fulfilled. Like my parents are like, my dad is like, he says he's the happiest he's ever been, and God gave him a clean bill of health. And
Is he happy because he sees the perspective of what is promised to him in religion?
Yeah, like there's a certain like they view this is not the end. Life might be difficult now. You can go to church, and you could either gossip, or somebody's going to encourage you. The pastor's going to give you the good word, and you can dance and let it all go. You can let out all the evil spirits go and jump up.
The
and
Holy
down.
Ghost.
The Holy Ghost and all that good stuff. And you come out of the church and you feel so great. And I remember that. Like, I remember coming out of church feeling amazing. Like, we had a great sermon. I feel great. I'm ready to attack the week on Monday.
Now, when you're saying right now that in this religion where you're describing right now, you believe
I believed all
everything.
that. Yeah.
There's a guy in the sky,
man,
and there's a whole deal.
the Kool-Aid, man. I thought the
Is-
sky
hold on.
was blue.
Is God white or brown?
It's definitely white with blue eyes.
In your religion, they think that.
Well,
In their interpretation of Christianity, they think that.
Yeah, I started seeing like,
Jesus too? They think Jesus is a white dude?
man, yeah.
Holy shit.
Because
Okay.
remember the Cecil DeMille movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we saw. That's what if we're looking for a fun thing
They
to
never
do.
factor in that he's Middle Eastern. They never consider
No,
that.
man, we ate that Kool-Aid so hard. The movies that Cecil DeMille made. So
Well, hold on. I gotta explore this more.
mhm.
So you as a society, as a culture, as a tribe, as a people of brown skinned people, what was your perspective? Did you feel that God, you were owned to God? I'm trying to think of how to.
we belong to God. Like we want to be
Did
like.
you look at does the religion make you think that the white people are somewhere higher because they're
Kinda.
closer to God as far as skin tone?
Man, I thought you guys had different colored blood.
No shit.
Like it's when you think about when you come out of it, like just out, and then you look inside, it's just mind boggling. Like we were praying yesterday because I went to pick up my son or whatever.
Right.
And we were praying, and obviously I closed my eyes, right? Because that's what we did. And then I'm like, wait, why am I guilty of closing my eyes? I can keep them open. I can look around.
All right.
I don't give a shit. Like, maybe it's gonna strike me down. Even like right now, I have doubts.
Right.
Like maybe
I've gone to the same thing. I was much younger. I broke out of it a lot sooner.
yeah.
And I was like
but see, I broke out of it.
10, 12, 13 in that age.
I admitted to it completely about 2 years ago because I was agnostic.
Right.
And then after all, I just was like, no, you have to. And it's so hard to. And I'm going to go back to your question.
Go ahead.
This is how religion got to Africa.
Right.
When a missionary showed up, you can, when it's almost like they were territorial, right? Because the missionaries would come in and they will find somebody, like, for example, in the coastal area, that's where all the trading happened from the Middle Eastern countries, right?
And we should say, and maybe you're going to get to this. So
Mombasa.
Well, I was going to say, it's not just, it's Christianity, it's
And
Catholics,
Muslim.
it's Muslims, it's
Yep.
all these people are coming in and they're trying to more or less kind of stake their claim within society.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to
Influence.
recruit
Yeah.
as many people as possible. And the reason that maybe your tribe has X religion versus the other tribe is just random luck.
It's
That's where they showed up.
It's basically where they mark their territory.
Exactly. Okay.
So you come to the coastal area. Islam was there before because they traded spices.
Right.
It was a route for spices. So in the coastal area, it's mostly Muslim because that's who they interacted with first. And then Christianity they didn't even try. They drove past that, got in the middle. That's when the Catholic missionaries got there first and got in the middle. So that area in the middle of Kenya is mostly Catholic Methodist. So there's a mix there a little bit because that's where all the missionaries came to because there was this hub. But the Seventh-day Adventists, I think they came later.
They were a little behind.
So we find them towards the center, the center of Africa. So they came all the way to towards Lake Victoria area. That's where we are. And they staked their territory there. So most Seventh-day Adventists come from my tribe.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A lot of Catholics are Kikuyus.
Is that what your family is now?
Yeah, man, hardcore.
Okay.
But I mean, they've lessened a little. No, they haven't. They still come at me hard, man.
Okay.
They
We'll
still
get
come
into
at me
that.
really hard.
Keep talking about the
Yeah.
the
So
establishment.
they established that, and so now you have these pockets of religion, and they all believe. And we had our own religion. Like my tribe, our god was called Enkoro.
Okay.
No history of that.
Is-
That's all I know.
That's the first time I've ever heard the term.
Yeah.
Is it any way, shape, or form similar in story or script
No.
to the God Jesus story?
I'm gonna say the one I remember was I think it was either Kikuyu or the Meru or the Embu, one of the Kamba. It was called Mumbi.
Okay.
It was a man and a woman. They came from the sky and they walked down to Earth or to Kenya or whatever, and they had 9 kids, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an afterlife, heaven type component to it?
I don't know. Dude. When religion came, it wiped a lot of history.
That's how good the Christian religion is. It's
Yeah,
such a good story.
It literally wiped all of our I don't know what our ancestors' history is. Like those stories when
Whoa.
it's like when you go to South America and what are they called? Those guys. I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about how when you go there and these people, the people in Amazon. Oh no, what's that big forest down south? The Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah. The people in Amazon.
You talking about pygmy tribes? Or you
No,
talking about
like I can't remember. They're like the village
the
healers, the shaman. Yeah.
shaman, yeah.
They have all this knowledge, but they can't pass it down because it's not written. It's not basically if you come in
It's
with
an oral history.
it's an oral history.
Yeah.
And if you come down with man, I knew that. Man, I went to school. They taught us oral history, but all that history, the shamans are dead in Kenya. So like. I hope it doesn't happen to South America because South America
There's no
they're
book
still
of
there.
your
There's no book.
Christian Muslim influence.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Dude,
that's
we
crazy.
don't even know what day my grandpa was born, bro. They used to name people like, you were born in the rains, you were born at war,
Well, see,
you were born.
and that to me when you
and
talk
that would mark I don't know what my name is, but that would mark the time you were born. So you'll count in rain cycles how old you are almost. Like because we have long rains and short rains, but now it's like weird because we have El Ninos now.
right.
Because the
Yeah, 'cause the
environment is
virus
so
broken.
fucked up, yeah.
Yeah.
And it affects them worse, and it's not even news. We have a hurricane, like a category 4 that hit Zimbabwe, I think last week or whatever. I came to find out.
Well, here they
so
only want to
much
report
late.
the ones here because they don't want to make it seem like it's worse than
Yeah.
what it is. Like, yeah, we
No,
got
when
virus,
it's-
but it's all over the planet.
No,
it's
it's
weird
all-
weather.
No, the poor countries will get hit
Yeah.
harder and worse. Like
Yeah.
we'll survive as humanity. We have the capability to survive. But in Africa, they're gonna get hit the more. You know how I told you, man. I just keep deviating.
Keep going, man.
Um,
You're doing great.
but yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things like when it rains, God gave you rain, or something. Like we never.
Everything's God related. Either way.
Yeah.
Do they look at it kind of like the fundamentalist Christians do here? Like, oh, you had that hurricane because you had too many gays down there, or something like that. Is
Yeah.
it like that?
That God is punishing us because the story of Noah, right?
Yeah.
But God did say in the Bible that He's never gonna punish. Because I read the whole Bible first of all.
I did too, but I was in jail. I didn't have the chance to read, so I was like,
Oh, yeah. Wait, you were in jail?
oh, I've been in jail many times. Drug possession, everything else.
Holy shit!
Yeah, man.
How was that like?
Here it was probably nice compared to jail in Kenya. It
Yeah,
was
man. I don't even.
probably
Dude,
way
I don't even
better.
know where the jails are, bro. Oh yeah,
Our
and if
jail
they
had heating and air conditioning.
dude,
in it,
if
so I
they
don't know.
if they book you, it's the same thing here. If they book you on Friday, you're not getting out till Monday, and there's no toilet, so people shit on the floor.
Oh, it was. See, ours was better. We actually had toilet paper and everything
Yeah.
else. It was
So like you're basically like 13 people in a cell, and you sleep there, and you know.
put next to a pile of shit.
Yeah, next to a pile of shit, man.
Holy
Going
fuck.
to jail was just
And everybody's
so
praying.
freaking
Praying's
scary.
gonna get better. Is that what it?
It's not.
Well, what you were saying right there, going back to kind of losing the oral history, the
Yeah.
core beginnings of the Kenyan people. That to me is a detrimental loss because of religion.
It's a huge loss
because they replaced your identity, and that's not nothing new. When we came here, we did the same thing to the native people. They would fucking kidnap their kids and force them to cut their hair and act white and everything else. It's the same thing. It's you're stealing the identity, the who makes you who, and conforming you and molding you. And the only thing really changes is the method at this time.
And you look and culture is so precious, man. Like, but then I didn't get that perspective until later on in life. I keep saying that because I've started appreciating.
Me too. Here I am now,
right?
I could give a shit back in my history or anybody else's. Back in my 20s.
But you start reading a little bit about how how about Eastern. And I'm actually more intrigued about Eastern cultures.
Okay.
Like I started meditating.
Okay.
Best thing ever. I don't know if anybody has okay, first of all, I don't think it's mental issues. If I respect mental health,
right,
and if anybody has anxiety or anything like that, like I do, just do your way. Like there's so many ways to cross a river.
Right.
But I crossed the river with meditation, and that shit was a bomb.
Is that a Kenyan saying? Cross the river?
Yeah, that's what our math teachers usually said.
I like that.
There's so many ways to cross the river Kagera. There's so many ways to solve a math problem.
See, that's a cultural element right there.
So it's kind of crazy. But there's so many ways, and religion and that's what I had an argument with my mom the other day, and she was like, "Why do you want to leave your cultures?" And I was like, "Mom, that is not even our culture."
Okay, let's dive into that then.
Yeah,
because your parents they're by the book,
everything,
religion,
man. Like
everything is religion. Just affect every component of their lives. I mean, is everything filters through this filter of religion? And
for the 7-day Adventists, they're like, here's my best description. They're like evangelicals on steroids. No, Mormons. Now, actually, Mormons are on a different level. I don't know.
I was going to say 7 days in Mormons but again, I'm just saying from outside looking in. So
we don't know.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what I know in our religion.
Go for it.
We cooked Friday night, and the only TV we watched was when my dad wanted to see the news at 7. Everything else was shut off. You're either reading a book about God or Ben Carlson. You know who that is?
Yes, I know who Ben Carlson is.
Because he had 2 books. Think Big and Gifted Hands.
Right. He was the sort who ran for president in was it last election cycle?
Yeah, but now I look at him, I was like,
so why is he some kind of?
Because he was a 7-day Adventist and he grew up from a poor family and became a neurosurgeon.
Just the religion thing is why he's like this.
The God guided him through.
No shit.
Yeah, I read, and then he came up with the.
So was his voting base a lot of Kenyans moved to America?
No.
Were they voting for him?
No,
really.
But when we came here, I mean, not a whole lot of. See, I'm telling you, our tribe is very small.
Okay.
There's 42 tribes in Kenya. Maybe
when we
more.
say small, you're talking 100,000?
Oh, I think it could be smaller than that, man. I don't know, but there's a lot of them. Like we've migrated. We've also infiltrated everywhere. So Minnesota has the highest Kisi population, I feel like, because we came here and formed our own little community.
Okay.
And
where's the Kenyan community in the Twin Cities?
Brooklyn Park.
Really?
Brooklyn Park, Plymouth area. I want to say a little bit of Anoka, because all the 7-day Adventist churches are around there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they're mostly, and when we migrated, because they call it chain migration now. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny, but whatever.
It is an ironic term.
It is so weird. I'm telling you, the terms people come up with, man, I just laugh. Anyways, yeah. So when we moved here, we mostly moved to Brooklyn Park because some of the first, and Minnesota was, as I said, probably the best state for an immigrant, and they move up. We moved up here, and when we piled up in the area, so. But yeah, we formed a little small community. We go to the same, dude. There are so many churches because they fight so much.
The churches fight amongst
themselves?
Themselves? What are they fighting over?
Money.
Okay, of course.
Dude, I stood up one time in church and cried because, dude, it's a funny story.
Okay.
Even church here, There's a black conference and a white conference. Did you know that?
Of the
Oh no, probably you didn't know that because you're not Seventh-day Adventist. There's
it's kind of like that. Like there's there's black Christian groups versus white Christian.
Yeah.
So I assume I know it's kind of what it's
because
a division within the group.
Because a little while back, the white conference, I can't remember what it's called, but they wouldn't hire black pastors, so they went and formed their own conference,
Right.
and it's called like the Great Lakes Area Conference or whatever, and they're just they do diversify, but anyway, so when we here, it was like, now this. Okay, what was this one? No, it was somebody else. He said when it was somebody a black, it was an African gentleman, and he goes, "I went to this church. I'm not gonna mention it. I'm not gonna put it out there.
Fair enough.
But who cares? They probably don't even listen to this. It was a church in Minnetonka or whatever, and it was mostly white congregation.
Okay.
And so when he moved here, he was looking for a church, and he found that one. It was closest to his house, and he went to that church. And one of the congregation members, tapped him on the shoulder and goes, and maybe he was being nice, and he could have been very, very nice, and he meant this probably the best thing that he could feel like he meant.
I'm glad you think that way, but
but he goes, there's another church over there that you'd be more comfortable.
That's the one with the more brown people.
Yeah, that just right there blows my mind. But even in
I appreciate that you've given him the benefit of the doubt and thinking he's just trying to be nice.
Man, I think all people are good. They just were brought up differently, and they should.
I agree with that.
If they were open to just a little bit of change and just hear somebody out for a second, and look from somebody else's perspective.
Well, was you're on that? Let's jump to something else, because we talked a little bit prior. And we talked a little bit about racism, and I told you about my father. I'm a father who doesn't like anything brown.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't like brown rice. He doesn't like brown people.
Yeah.
It's just the way that he is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't take that with me. Now, your parents are here in America, and they don't want to mix a little bit. Is that right? Did I understand you right?
They want to mix, right? They have this thing where, like, because this was the first time it was called, the church we go to was called, first of all, when I came to the US, there was two churches, Kenyan Faith Church and Kenyan Community Church.
Okay.
And they're mostly Kenyans, and they're mostly my tribe.
Right. Everybody together.
Yeah. And this is where they spend all their Saturdays. So they work during the week. They visit each other. We visit each other. I should say we visit each other during the week. And basically, my girlfriend was, at the time, was the daughter to my dad's best friend.
Okay.
So, like, we stay in this
good
little...
Kenyan girl.
Yes,
okay.
She was. Kind of changed a little bit.
Yeah,
but whatever.
We're going to work our way up to that one.
But she's still a good girl. She's still, doing her thing or whatever.
I've seen some gorgeous Kenyan models.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't doubt.
Beautiful. Yeah.
For a minute.
But I diversify.
Right.
Yeah. When God said, spread your seed around, I said, no, I'm kidding.
There's an angry white person listening to this right now. God damn it! I know we're talking about them white women. It's gonna get worse, buddy. Relax. Strap yourself in.
Yeah, but what were we talking about? My perspective.
Yeah, your family's perspective.
Yeah, my family's perspective
about the before talking about your current love.
Yeah.
Do they feel like they're are they American? Are they Kenyans in America?
They have misconceptions about white people too. They say that white people don't have a culture. I feel like white people have a freaking culture. There's so much here.
They're not the first person to say that, and I don't know if I know the answer to that.
Or like the foods that we eat, we basically eat. We still do. When I go to my parents' house, my mom wants to cook me ugali.
Okay,
that's the staple food. Ugali is like it's corn.
Okay,
ground corn. So that whatever we make, hard grits.
Oh, I love grits.
Yeah.
I'm from Southern Missouri. I love grits.
But without sugar, though.
Okay.
And then
I'd like them either way.
And then you
sweet or fried grits or seasoned grits with
but it's
shrimp in it.
How do you fry grits,
dude? It's called scrapple.
Oh, I opened up a can of worms.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. So here's how my grandmother made it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would have grits one morning, right, and she would make extra grits. And those extra grits, you'd pour them into like a square Tupperware container and put them in the refrigerator overnight.
Yeah.
Okay. Take it out the next day
Yeah.
for breakfast. You flip that container over. It comes out in a nice big brick of congealed grits. You slice them into like little squares, lightly flour them, fry them in a skillet, and you can put syrup on them, do them like pancakes. You can put seasoning on them, hot sauce on them. You can serve them as a breakfast food, as a dinner food. It's fucking fantastic. I love.
I'm gonna try that.
It's so good. It's
I'm gonna
so
definitely.
good.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna travel to the south real quick. And but see,
me.
when I was in Georgia though,
Right.
when basic training,
Okay.
man, they made some mad grits though.
I bet.
Those were some of the best grits I ever had.
Great
And
food
like
there all throughout there.
I'm talking about like it's not the best food, and we had to chow it down within a certain amount of time.
You're talking about commissary grits. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but they were still good. Like of everything that we ate there, the chicken was good, and the grits were good.
Okay.
Everybody always talk about Fort Benning grits.
Chicken grits.
Yeah. No. It was just basic,
so-
basic grits.
Let's talk about that for a minute. So you were at Fort Benning. So you were infantry?
No, I was a medic.
Medic. Okay. So
Yeah.
medics go through there as well too.
Yeah. No,
No?
they stopped doing soft courses, soft MOSs through there.
Okay.
I think we were one of the last ones, I think.
Okay.
And the infantry people hated us for a while.
But you were what
I was in the
branch?
National Guard.
National Guard.
Yeah, I joined
National
out when
Guard
I was
Army.
20.
And you were deployed. You went to Kuwait during Iraq too.
Yeah,
Right.
we closed the bases,
Okay.
so we didn't like the roads that we were on. We didn't see a whole lot of messed up stuff.
Right.
But
Kuwait was more of a safer zone. at that
Kuwait, yeah,
time.
where we stayed in Kuwait, because we're in Kuwait and then we'll drive into Iraq and then
Okay.
come back. And at that point, they were. But if you go like northern towards Baghdad or whatever, they were still hot.
Right.
So they will be reported but then if you think about it, the statistic is you're more there's a chance that you could die on an accident on a road.
Right.
There's a better chance for you to die on the road than dying in country. So because there's a medic right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's not like driving down the highway here. It's
Yeah.
still a little,
dude,
little rural out there.
yeah, it's it's so like it's so flat.
Right.
There's nothing. There's nobody there. Like
Right.
you could. I mean,
What
we've
was
also murdered a lot
do a lot of Kenyans join
in
the military?
Dude, funny story, man. So when I was in basic, I bunked with a person who had the same last name as me, except for the last two letters.
Really?
Yeah,
And he was Kenyan?
he Kenyan. Yeah, he was from the tribe north of mine.
Okay.
That's why my name come from.
Gotcha.
His name was Onyangure, and I'm Onyangure. It's crazy.
How were you received as Kenyans in the military? How
They don't care.
let me start with
Nobody
this.
cared.
Let me see about this. How do American black people treat you? What is your impression of the treatment that
They don't like us much.
okay.
I don't know.
Because I grew up in a lot of hood areas, and when I moved here, I know a lot of people in like North Minneapolis and hood, and so that's where I was at. And there is a stigma that I noticed.
I don't know why. I've never really. I mean, there was something out there. Like I don't know if I didn't hear it from. Like we sold them or something, sold them out,
I don't know what you hear so many different variants of the same story. Well, it was. And that's a lot of the racist people are like, that's the whole reason I got slavery, because they sold us their and whatever.
But then in high school, okay,
humans making mistakes.
I want
is what it
to
is.
say this.
Go
It
ahead.
changed. So high school was a little different, because high school I got picked on a little bit. I didn't care about getting picked on. Just I'm a very pick
Passive.
on me. Like I don't care. Yeah, I'm very, very passive. I hate I run away from conflict. I just don't like
And you're
conflict.
Kenyan, so you run faster from conflict.
I play rugby, but I hate being tackled. It's like, why do you play rugby? That's why I'm fast.
I do all the running
I
stuff.
do all the running. Like I love running. Like I can do that.
Right.
I mean, I'm not the faster tribe Kenyan, but anyways, we'll talk about that either too.
Right.
But yeah, what was I saying?
About the treatment of
Yeah.
Black and Africans.
So yeah, so
the
like
demographic.
it threw me off a little bit because I thought they would, they're the ones who would like, kind of
Embrace
protect
you the
me,
most.
embrace me, and help me out through like, my classes and stuff. And I even in a dining area,
Do you have an opinion of why that it wasn't like that? Because I have an opinion.
I don't. What is your opinion?
I think, and I think it's not a Black quality. I think it's a human quality.
Yeah.
That whenever you're a lesser in the society, which not that it's not an actual thing, but how they've been treated, minorities in this country, it feels good to have somebody less than you.
That could be it.
And I think that a lot of that, when you look at the bigger problems, and this is not my theory, this is, greater mind than mine.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at like poor white people who want to who vote, and they want to in such a way that it helps the rich and wealthy people,
Yeah.
because they're always propagandized too that these minorities, be it Mexican or Black or whatever, is always taking their thing. So they want to trickle that down. They want to be, I'm poor
that.
as fuck, but at
Yeah.
least I'm not poor and Black. You know what I'm saying? It's that that little social ladder thing.
I can definitely see that. And then, okay, so I'll add something to that.
Please.
Is that, and then when they see them work hard and become, and move out of that area, it's kind of like, oh man, he came from behind and kind of kicked me. Like it's one of those things.
Right.
And it has changed. As I said, high school was weird, right? College.
And I don't want to clarify right here before we leave that point. I don't think that you're suggesting
No.
that every Black person is
No,
is lazy.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
I have a lot of African American friends who are successful. Like,
Right.
They're we are harder
and
on
I would say, and I would argue also that
Mhm.
sometimes, if you look at the history of Blacks in this country, if you get beat into a corner long enough, and I'm using that metaphorically, but it's also literal. Sometimes you tend to not want to strive as hard, because what's the point?
That's the other
You're
thing.
psychologically defeated at that point, and that's something that carries on throughout generations. If you many generations of poverty and disrespect, at what point do you say fuck it? I always tell people, if you reverse the roles and it's white slavery and American people or African people discovered this country and brought whites, it's going to be the same.
It's going to be the
thing.
same thing.
It's
Yeah.
going to be the same result.
And what was I saying? Like for me, I've always in my head, I always dreamt that I will have a car. I would be it in Kenya, be it in America. Like I've always had that vision. I've never felt that I cannot do anything. And that's like that mentality right there is very, very different when it comes to like when you've been beat down and stuff like that. I didn't get beat down, and
Because you already had you were 16 when you moved here.
yeah,
Right? But you already had you had vision, you had guidance, you had
I wanted to be my
dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to, up until the age of 16,
I was
you didn't have to
read-
worry about the conflict of race.
I was reading Ben Carson books, man.
Right.
Like I was reading about a neurosurgeon.
Maybe we should elect him. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe,
Who was man, he should stick to neurosurgery. He shouldn't be in politics. Like he's a very, very smart individual.
Right.
Like when it comes to neurosurgery, very, very socially awkward though. Like
he seems like it. From
yeah,
what
he's very, very
my
socially
impressions
awkward.
of him.
Like yeah, we feel yeah. I mean, you mean well, but you say stuff. And when I call it say stuff, it's like
Some
like-
smart people shouldn't talk. They should
Yeah.
go do your smart
like go
shit.
do your smart shit somewhere and just don't come out in public. Like
Right.
I'm reading like Steve Jobs
Okay.
right now, and
Super awkward, dude.
freaking awkward man. He showed up to meetings in flip flops.
Stinking.
Yeah, smelling. Like actually, the more I read his book, the more I hate Apple. He was such a douche.
Yeah, it's a
But that's my own opinion. But anyways,
I can't argue.
no, I personally, my vision is to be somewhere, and it's like I have my own vision package. Like you're not gonna deter me from that.
Right.
Like I drive to where I want to go, but I also do feel like even in looking in Kenya, when you've been beat down, because I mean even if there's no racism, there's still like tribalism, and there's still not lesser tribes per se.
That's such a human quality, man. It's
It's
always
such
to
a-
find division within whatever.
Yeah, it's
If it was just everybody on the planet looked like me, or everybody on the planet looked like you, we would
we'll
still find.
figure it out. We'll
We're gonna
find
find some
we'll
fucking
find
reason.
something. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
find something.
your farts smell worse than my farts. Oh no, they don't. And that's is what it would devolve to.
I mean, I've seen like identical twins really get along
Right.
a lot. That's about it. That's pretty much about it. But yeah, man. So like, even then, like when you have a poor kid who grows up in a poor neighborhood, some of them will get into the middle class or upper middle class in Kenya, but getting out of that zone is like the hardest thing, man.
Right.
Like upper mobility is. People do say that, you work hard, go to school, and
on paper
college.
it makes sense.
It makes so much sense.
In reality, not so much.
No, the reality isn't.
There's too many different things. It's be the social economic stuff, and sometimes it's regional. Sometimes it's just what part of what country you got born in, or what side of town, or what.
Can I have one more?
Please knock them out.
All right,
that's what they're for.
Yeah, it's what part of town, what neighborhood you grew up. You know what's funny is, even now when I meet another Kenyan, they'll ask me, "Where did you grow up? What is your tribe?" In our tribe, if I meet someone,
like they can't process you as one person.
They can't process you as a person.
location.
Yeah. Even the tribe that I'm in, they will still ask me, "What village do you come from?" Just to like, you know how like there's that 7 seconds where I judge you real quick, and if let's say I see and this is another dilemma that I have. Let's say I see an African American person, I would change my dialect a little bit because I would assume, because I will judge him. I'd be like, he's African American, he's probably going to speak in Ebonics, so I should probably switch.
I would be
that
lying
way.
if I told you I didn't do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If I'm in a place where it's wealthier Caucasian people,
Perk up and speak proper.
I'm a little bit more. But if I go in the hood, then my dialect changes. And
if you're in
it
South
goes,
Minneapolis,
not because I'm trying to be insulting, because I know the perception, and that's who I am. I grew up in the fucking poor areas. That's who I am.
And you don't.
So if I'm changing for the wealthier.
And
you
don't even know you're doing it. You just do it, which is definitely
it's a
very
form
weird.
of adaptation.
Yeah. So we make this little prejudgments, and even in those, you know how you said like, yeah, but there's still ways to split hair.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't like your tribe. Why? What did I do to you?
I don't know. My dad didn't
My
like
dad
your tribe.
didn't like your tribe. My grandpa
didn't.
didn't. That is basically it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, what about me? Everybody, that's what it is. So
That's so crazy, and it's sad, but it's also reassuring that I born over here in this country, you born over there in the country, still the same failures of humanity,
dude.
no matter where you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've said this in a word before, but our failures are our common ground. Our weaknesses, our failures as a human should be where that's why we're the same.
But I feel like you have to see it first.
Yeah. Or be willing to see it.
Be willing to see it. Like you have to like as I said, I stepped out. I did not know that we were in Kenyans. We stayed in like little communities or whatever until I went to college. And you remember how like I said I was going through like different personalities in college because I had no idea. I had to pick my clothes. Right. So like I wanted to identify as a black kid, as an African American kid, and
let me ask that.
use the N-word and all that stuff. What's that?
When you first got here, did you feel this need to adapt? Did you want to hold on to Kenyan you? Did you want to become American you?
I wanted to be American as everything else. Like,
was there any battle within your head? Did you feel any guilt? Did you feel any?
No.
I wanted this. This is what I was going to do.
I had a dream, and I feel like nature. I love nature, and I think maybe because I'm a hippie now, almost.
Nice.
But I feel like nature is interconnected.
Okay.
So you could.
I believe it.
Yeah. So that's what nature is. Like we evolved from a little protozoa or something like that. So everything is connected,
Right.
Check out that podcast that I showed you.
Yeah.
Everything there's in there that everything is connected,
This is the TED Talk podcast he's talking
Radio
about.
Hour.
TED Talk Radio Hour.
Yeah.
I've never listened. I've listened to TED Talks, but I've never listened to a single episode. So I'm gonna jump into that.
opened up my life, man.
Really?
Like, I had so many misconceptions. Like, we have so many
Some
misconceptions.
people talk about filter-free America like that too. It
Yeah.
changed my life. Joey talks about masturbation every 10 minutes. It's life-changing shit. Oh yeah, TED Talks are good too.
How old were you when you masturbated for the first time?
Probably 12 to 13. Probably.
I want to say I was 12 too. 12 or 13
I think
years
so.
old.
I remember where I was.
Me too.
Like I'm like literally the house, where I was at in the bathroom, the whole 9 yards. I remember exactly what it was.
I remember the soap that I used. It was called Imperial Lather. I'm not kidding you. It was one of those bar
Sounds
soaps.
prestigious.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, I'm telling you, it was a prestigious soap. Like it.
of course it was. Did you do the mistake I did? See, my first masturbation lubricant. How the hell did we go from solving the world's humanitarian crisis to masturbation?
Because masturbation solves a lot of my problems.
It does. It does. It clears your mind.
I actually do. Like when I'm studying, when I was studying, but before finishing college, I will go through a sesh, and to clear myself,
A masturbation
I'll
session. To be clear.
no. I'm talking about studying my session.
Well, see, I
you
have
know?
masturbation sessions. So that's
Oh
fine.
no, masturbation is also a session. So
I'm
like,
a rhythm drummer.
so
kinda
like
thing.
when, especially when I'm like doing math or accounting or something like that, and I'm stuck.
right?
Even when I was doing because I went to school first, when my parents wanted me to be a doctor, so I went to school for biomedical sciences, and then I hated it, so I did not want to go to school for it. So I lied to my parents that I was still going to school
Oh my goodness.
for a very long time, and so I figured after I joined the military though, they stopped asking when I was going to school, and it was like a point almost like shameful that
Were they glad you went to the military? Did they like that?
that threw them off.
Like they didn't know how to deal with it?
They didn't know how to deal with it.
Interesting.
And also, I just dropped it on them. I dropped it on them a week before I went to basic.
Wow.
Same way I introduced my girlfriend.
Right.
We walked into the house, and
I apologize, to the listener. We're jumping all over his life, but just enjoy the flow of the conversation.
yeah, I'm a scatterbrain. So we get home, and Rachel walks. Oh, should I use
his white girlfriend. Like,
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
the white one. Are you guys married now? or-
No, we're not. We just
Okay.
have a child together.
Okay.
A child off of
Gotcha.
wedlock.
It's
you
the
know.
American dream, man.
Man, dude.
Make a
I'm
kid.
telling you.
Don't get married.
Yeah, it's marriage is just somebody who approves.
Yeah. It's
For you to
it's
be
like a
together.
fishing license.
It's
here.
so
It's really
stupid.
all it is.
Ugh. Anyways, don't worry, Rachel. We'll talk about that.
She started listening. She's turned off a long time ago. Once we started talking about
Yeah.
masturbation, everybody half the listeners have turned off.
Yeah. No, but where did we veer off?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
okay. We were talking about solving world issues. Anyways, and then I talked.
And we
about
went to masturbation.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I introduced her. We got to my mom, and I was like, "Hi, mom. Mom, this is Rachel. Rachel, this is my mother. She's my girlfriend." And then I left the room. And then Rachel comes up to me later, and she goes,
Did your mom have a look in her eye when you were telling her?
you told him, huh?
How'd your mom did you see a physical change in her face?
I left the room, bro. I did not want to know what she was
Didn't
thinking.
even
What
look.
I dropped the ball on her, and she was. But they're cool. They like each other. They're starting to
Did
learn.
they immediately like each other, or was a filling out process?
There was a feeling out process. Obviously, they would. This is.
Was there a talk to try to talk you out of it prior? Like
no,
after the first
they
meeting?
they've always respected my relationship interests. That's the one thing they have. They have kind of told me she doesn't go to church.
that was their problem.
Yeah, that was the biggest problem. She's gonna make you Catholic and stuff. And so she always asks, did you guys go to church this weekend? And I'm like, no. What did you guys do? Nothing. We just hung out. It's Saturday. Saturdays are meant for Manchester and coffee. That's my religion now, I guess. So yeah, if you want to really know, I did go to church at 10 o'clock this morning. But yeah, but other than, and then when what threw her off now was, so do you guys go to church on Sunday? And I was like, no, we don't go to church at all. And she goes, oh, so you guys are going to raise a child without God?
Wow.
Yeah.
That means something when she said
That means a lot.
that means a lot to them.
A lot. A lot. It's religion is, when I say religion stole my childhood, I am not kidding you, man.
Holy cow.
I used to cry because I wanted to go to church or whatever, but those are the only friends I hang out with. So yeah, I want to go hang out with them. So I used to go to church even on Sunday and go
For
to
the
Bible
social
school.
component
Yeah,
of
for
it.
the social component. I wanted to go to all the camps. I wanted to go to Lake Victoria. I wanted to go to Lake Magadi. There's a lot of nature. Like tourism is huge. But yeah, I wanted to do all that stuff. And I just felt like I never got an opportunity to. I was a good soccer goalie, but nobody ever encouraged me to play that.
Right.
My brothers were like some of the fastest kids in grade school. Nobody supported that, like to do sports or anything like that. They just wanted us to be doctors and engineers and stuff like that. So it was almost like when I was in college and I was going through my crisis of dressing up and doing all these things and lying to my parents that I'm not going to college and stuff like that. I didn't want my parents to feel ashamed of me because I didn't want to be the typical date a kisi, because you cannot even date outside our tribe. That's taboo. Like people will look at you weird, you know. So dating a white girl was
let's first go back to that. Go to
taboo.
the tribe part. So if you start dating somebody without your tribe, when you say it looks weird, is that do they feel like you're thinning the bloodline of the tribe? Is
you're
that
abandoning your cultures, which
even within the tribes of the same country and the same people? That's crazy.
I mean, we do have like cultures, like, but I don't know them very well. Like, I came to find out that when a child is born, you have to, the mom has to shave their hair. But I didn't get a warning, and I'm not gonna shave my kid's hair.
Right.
Like that's not fair to him. Like his hair is really cute, and I like it, and I really want it there. I don't want anybody to touch it.
Right.
Yeah. That's and the one. Oh, when I'm supposed to introduce my child to the men in our family, I'm supposed to buy each of them a shirt. You know. I mean, there's still like some traditions that we have. Like I was circumcised when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
No. I was in 3rd grade. I remember that.
Now, see, that's some white religion shit, right?
Because
there, right? Circumcision.
No, circumcision was
that was prior?
culture. Yeah.
Okay. Is that female?
Female. Yeah.
Sexual,
it's now getting socially weeded out. Like FGM, female genital mutilation.
Yeah, there we go.
There's a lot of activism, and I mean, I feel like women should enjoy their sex too, man. Like, why do you?
And I'm going to ask this. I'm going to ask this in a tactful way, so I don't put you on the spot or anybody in your family. Is there people within your family that have gone through that? Or had
okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm open about it. I mean, they didn't know any better. Right. I want to say, and the people who circumcise, and this is in the country,
and
they don't even sterilize.
It's good to sometimes grow out of things culturally too. Sometimes people want to cling to culture, and sometimes it's like, okay, it's okay to move past things.
I'm gonna show you something real quick, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Don't show me your circumcision.
No. Hey, look.
What am I looking at? He's opening his mouth. He's not opening his pants.
Epiglottis.
Epiglottis. What you had something removed?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
You had the thing removed. Why?
Because in our culture, when I was losing appetite, they were like, "That's what's blocking it."
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. So there's a guy who came in. And he used a pen, like a pen with a knife, and he would go in and cut it. And he didn't sterilize it. He cut me and my
Are you
cousin.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it was very, very stupid, but they cut it. I worked in class because I always thought, because you know how like the epiglottis looks a little long?
Yeah, it's like a little looks like a little mini nutsack hanging in your
Yeah.
mouth kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, I should explain it too. Mine is just a little ridge.
Okay.
Like it's like a small U because they cut it off. Because they thought it was an appetite thing. So
it's a medical treatment.
Yeah.
In there.
So when it comes to like circumcision or whatever, they don't sterilize their tools. They just and that's why AIDS spread so rampant for a while. Even though there was still a lot of there's this tribe that was north of us, they can inherit wives. So if your older brother dies, you take his wife and children and you take care of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that was the main reason why it spread over there. But it also spread when shit like circumcision and
poor medical
technician. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like traditions that we have kept kind of, you know, considering that, you know, religion is now considered very strongly. Like my mom said, like, you're not following our traditions. And I was like, wait, what tradition are we talking about here? Like the one that you read from a book or the one that you're supposed to pass down orally?
And how does she respond?
She had nothing.
Gotcha.
But See, that's the thing, though. I said, and I see that my whole life I was living a lie because I was hiding the fact that I was very, very skeptical. Because I did not want my parents to know that I didn't go to church. So I would make lies that, I'm sick today. I'm not going to, because I went to St. Cloud because I wanted to live far enough, but I can visit.
You can visit them, but then
So I don't
just going to show up at your door.
No.
Right.
And far enough that I don't have to drive every Saturday to go to church. Because if I would have gone to the U, then I would have to, because the U is 20 minutes.
Okay.
So, 30 minutes-ish. So I could commute.
Right.
St. Cloud is an hour.
That's enough
That
time.
extra 30 minutes is a lot for me to live up there. So
I got a couple more things I want to ask you about before we get to the end here. First, I wanted to ask was going back to the relationship thing. When you introduced your white girlfriend to your mom,
yeah.
did she introduce you to her family yet?
Yeah.
And what's that like? What's the because
man,
I got to think from
from
somebody who knows racist people, and not saying your mom's racist, but I know that as a white person in general, there's always a weirdness.
Yeah, they have some a little weirdness. Yeah,
but there's got to be a little extra weirdness when you're black, African black, versus like, hey, I'm from America black.
Yeah.
So was that a real? I'm just guessing.
So I'm gonna compare this, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So to my parents, right? They're all fascinated.
Okay.
My family, they want to like ask her what she could cook. Like my mom wants her to be in the kitchen with the women so they can talk or whatever. Because in Africa, like men don't go to the kitchen. Men stay in the living room and talk politics and sports or whatever.
Right.
Whatever men talk about. Aha, we're the men.
Right.
And the women stay in the kitchen and they cook and they, everybody comes with a dish or something.
And I'm gonna guess your girlfriend is not.
My girlfriend is a Packer fan. Like we are. Like
politically, is she more left or right?
She's gone both ways. Like we've tried to keep it open. Okay. So like we talk about politics very, very openly. We talk about religion very, very openly. We're very, very open-minded people, and that's why we're different when it comes to like personalities. Okay. She's sharp, direct. I hate conflict and stuff. Like that's not my thing.
You're the passive one.
I'm
she's
a passive.
More, okay.
She's more direct. Like that part we're different, but when it comes to like being open and being gender neutral when it comes to our child, being it's okay if you are who you are. Like live your freaking best life, homie. Like if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, and it has worked out better for us because he sleeps better because we don't have to do schedules. Mm-hmm. He sleeps better. He communicates better. He loves other people. He's just if I show you pictures of this kid.
Show me. I want to say you've posted one online before, and I've probably seen it, but
like he's always just laughing.
How old is he?
He's 7 months.
7 months.
Yeah, we'll.
Show me after.
Yeah, we'll show you after. But he's just more open. So like when Rachel comes to my family, like the women they stock in the kitchen and cook and stuff. Even one time, my cousin Faith, she was like, we always talk to each other like we're the rebels, but she just passed away from cancer. Fucking cancer sucks. Anyways, she would come one time. She comes home and she finds Rachel doing the dishes, and she goes, "How'd they rope you into doing that? Wow, Rachel, they're good."
Right.
So she had a secret. You tell like they're gonna try to suck you into like their cliquiness and stuff and the African culture. She was like, be free to be who you are. If you have a hangover, you can go see with the men and watch. You can come wearing a jersey and you can hang out. Stop sticking to those norms. Don't try to fit in. It's not. My cousin was the first one to like tell her like, hey, just be you. Okay. Right. And then going to her place she comes from a little small town in Wisconsin, so it's kind of freaking hilarious.
That's funny.
So we get there and it was a softball tournament, and one of them wanted to introduce me to the pastor who's African too.
Oh, okay.
So that we can find some common ground. I mean, there are some couple racist people, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I used to before I became a little more sensitive to racism. I used to when somebody inadvertently said the N-word and it was like, oh, sorry, man, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
How do you inadvertently say that?
Yeah, I know. It's what you used to talk about at the dinner table. Anyways, and I was like, no, it's cool, man. I came on an airplane, not a boat. But but yeah, it was kind of funny.
Right.
But so I used to be a realtor for a while, right?
Okay.
and I was showing my rugby friend a house, and his kid wanted to go play outside, but it was like, open the door, go play outside, and the kid was like, no, 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 I want to play with the brown guy, and I was like, first of all, that is cool that you guys don't talk the N word in your dinner table, and you actually, I am brown, I'm not black, fucking right, raising your kids right, I love it, love that.
There's a comedian in town. His name is Greg, and
Yeah.
he's a very funny guy. He has a joke about he works, or he used to, maybe he still does. He works in a school as a school assistant, and one of the white students calls him Chocolate Man. I won't tell it as a joke. You got to hear his joke.
I gotta hear his joke, man.
It's
That is funny.
he's a funny guy.
Yeah, I had to tell her that I'm at a podcast so she doesn't freak out.
Doesn't think you're out trying to find another wife.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I could have 2 wives and she went different area codes.
That's the way it works, man.
Yeah.
Different states.
If they keep
You got to get
them-
one that's a Vikings fan and one that's a Packers fan here.
Mhm.
That's the difference.
But
that's our tribes here. Is
Yeah.
Packers and Vikings.
But yeah, Packers and Vikings, that's what separated our house. But meeting her family, they were super cool. Like I ran a prank on her mom.
Really?
First time, yeah. Like it was April Fool's Day, and her mom always pranks them, and she
Okay.
always, but every single time, nobody has ever gotten her. So Rachel told me to call her and tell her, and she hadn't even seen me yet, and tell her that she has defaulted. I'm from Great Lakes, and she has defaulted on her student loans. So I called her and I was like, "Hi, may I speak to blah blah blah?" I was like, "Yeah, hi. I'm calling from Great Lakes, and your daughter seems like we're trying to reach her and she hasn't paid any of her student loans the past 9 months. And since you're a co-signer, would like to speak to you and talk about our options here." She goes, "What the fuck?" She hung up right away, calls her, and she's yelling, "If anything, I told you can default on credit cards, anything, but you cannot default on student loans."
Don't fuck with white people's credit.
No.
Man. They get shit is-
So she goes,
I
"Mom."
don't, but some white people take that shit serious.
And I started taking.
Because I don't
the shit
have any
seriously.
credit, so
I wanted to buy a car. It became a problem, bro.
right.
So anyway, so she goes, Mom, what's today? What's today? April 1st. What's today? April 1st. I know what day it is. It's April Fools. Damn it. So she calls back and she goes, "Are you Moses? You got some balls on you." So the first time I actually met her, she was waiting for me at the door, like
Ready to kick your ass.
she was ready to kick me. But we're really cool. So yeah, but her family is super awesome. So like, and they're very open minded.
Well, that's cool.
I got really. I want to
was
say
gonna
I got
in
really
Wisconsin,
lucky.
you know, it's 50-50 sometimes.
Yeah,
You
the
gotta be
only
careful.
thing they don't like me is because I'm a Viking fan.
Well, that's understandable.
Yeah, so like,
from their perspective, at least.
yeah,
I guess.
they buy him a lot of Green Bay garb.
You got to throw it away and pretend
No.
you like it.
I can win. Like I dressed up the child in Packer garb 2 weeks ago on a Thursday.
Right.
And Rachel was like, "Oh, that's good. You're coming along. That's good." Guess what I wore him as this Thursday?
Who?
The Vikings,
Nice.
because there was a draft. And then she goes, "Oh, you trickster."
Nice.
And I was like, "I outplayed you there." And she goes, "Yeah, you totally did. You
Exactly.
totally got me there."
Couple more things I want to cover. Well, first, since you stumble on it, is there an example of like just the worst racist moment that you've been here?
I got pulled over 3 times. One time on my birthday going to St. Cloud. That one was
3 times one trip?
one trip.
Holy shit.
That one I see. I didn't understand racism like that. So my feelings about race have changed because, get this. So I've always thought that black people are lazy, and because that's what society kept saying when we were in Kenya.
Right.
And when I moved,
That's what the cultural perception is of blacks in America? Or
yes, that's the
Interesting.
cultural perception. So that's because we have CNN in Kenya or whatever.
Okay.
We also like when you start, we had DSTV. Oh no, not DSTV. Like we'll get these channels that updates from Europe, and so their perception of black. That's the only perception we got. We
Right.
never got the other side of it. And when my parents stay in the small communities, they still look at it like that almost. So even when I was here, I thought that. So my opinions did not actually really evolve until I went to college.
Right.
I had no idea that, it's
And
it's
that's
systemic.
that's the secret too. It's like it's easy to make somebody think something if you're not interacting with those people.
Mm-hmm.
You can say something about a group of people, and if you don't interact with them or meet them or
If you
be
don't
around
meet,
them,
yeah.
then you're susceptible to that.
Yeah,
you know?
and you gotta open your. I feel like I had to open myself up a little bit, and just be challenged.
Yeah,
Mentally.
challenge your ideas.
Yeah, challenge my ideas, and ever since then, I've always had this long-standing thing where if you come up to me with good reason, and tell me something, and I will see where I am wrong, I am not gonna stick to my team.
Right.
I'm switching sides.
That's
Like,
humility.
Yeah, like there's no point for me to, if the world is dying and we're killing it, and because I had no idea. I was, throwing plastic all over, man.
Right.
I was like, let's,
Right.
and now it's like, damn, bro.
Right.
Like my grandkids are not going to have a place to live. Or remember what we said? The poor people will get hit first.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are going to die. And we're picking sides here, and it's not helping us. So, I mean, that's actually, I feel like that's a topic for another day, but
Yeah, that could be another one. Did you tell me what you being the stop? What were they telling you when you were being stopped? Why were you stopped the 3 times? Was it
it was a broken taillight, so I was wrong.
okay?
But it's something that
Was it all state? Was it state
No.
police?
no,
or
it was. But the last one was a highway trooper.
okay.
When Trump became president, somebody walked up to me, and I used to work at a bank as a teller,
Okay.
and somebody walked up to me and goes, "Are you ready to go back to Mogadishu?" And I was
Whoa.
like, "Okay."
That's, that's the opening conversation.
Yeah.
Not like there was nothing
And-
before. It was
No,
just
it was
random?
just, "Are you ready to
Holy
go back to
fuck.
Mogadishu?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to go visit." I mean, but I'm actually not from Somalia,
Were
but
they
I would
trying
love
be
to go
coy
there.
and just being unfunny,
It's
or was
when-
it hateful?
when Trump was passing the bill to ban people from
traveling from
Yeah,
Muslim countries?
and
Holy,
and I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to go visit, man. I mean, that'd be great. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good things about Mogadishu, but I'm not from there, bud."
and I'd
he
be
was
like,
so-
"Oops, I just erased your whole checking account."
Yeah, I'll never do that. But
Sorry.
but either way, I and see, that's the other thing. Like, even racism, I just feel like they're a little bit misinformed. I mean, because I was not the TED Talk. Anyways, I was listening to a guy who actually infiltrated, like, he went to the websites and see what they read and what they talk about in their in forums, or even how we interact with each other, and what websites we use when we researching stuff, or websites you post. Every single person looks at information in a different way. Because I personally, I'd like to get one source, I'd like to field another source, and I'd like to field another source, and I would like to get, the whole picture. And that's for my mind evolving and trying to challenge myself or whatever. But everybody does, even my family, even I feel like even black people, white, whoever it is, everybody has like their own way of gathering information, and that's why I feel like we're all most of the time super misinformed.
I think that's a major component of it.
Yeah.
I think, we all, when you break up into different groups, be it religious groups or racial groups or whatever kind of group you want to think of, how you disseminate information within that group, and the value you put on certain parts of the same information, it changes within that because it's manipulated to benefit, whoever's in that group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then when you leave that group, then you're forced to try to negotiate the world with all these different groups of people who've got these all different takes of maybe the same information, but just different versions of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And then again, like just like kind of my view of like religion, they've misused information. Not having information is detrimental, but you can also take information and use it as a weapon.
Oh, and there's also another
You know
thing.
what I'm saying?
Sometimes you also see what we want to see.
We build foundations around our ideas.
Yeah.
Whether ideas are right or wrong, we want to make them stronger. So we cherry pick. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, I have to constantly correct myself from doing the same thing, especially in some of the views that I have. Is that we want to be right, right? When
Yeah.
we fear being wrong, or if it's something major, like if you grew up all your life thinking that a certain minority group was bad,
Yeah.
and you realize that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
There's still that reckoning in your head, like, oh, I've got to change everything.
Yeah.
I'm 20, I'm 30, I'm 40 years old, and I've thought this my whole life. My whole life has been a lie. My whole life has been
Or
confused.
like when somebody posts something on Twitter like a long time ago, right? Like for example, the Cardi B thing, where she posted something about stealing somebody's money or whatever.
Oh yeah, there's a dancer.
Yeah. As a dancer, she was in some area, and I'm pretty sure right now she will not do that,
Right.
because she's loaded, right?
Right.
So even when it comes to like when I feel like when if somebody is racist, or if somebody is the person who said I was go back to Mogadishu, right?
Right.
At some point, if I can meet him somewhere and just why the fuck?
Right. Just have a conversation.
Like,
and
what did I do to you? What did Mogadishu do to you? What did
what do you even really know about me?
yeah, like because St. Cloud has a really, really bad stigma against them. Like, if you see, if you ever get on a forum and look at an accident in St. Cloud, they always assume it's a Somali woman driver.
Really?
And that will bash him. They'll be like, they should take licenses away from him. And then people will go on rants
Right.
all the way down, man. Like, I feel bad. And even though I'm a very forgiving person, and have you ever heard of Al-Shabaab?
Yeah.
It's a terrorist group from Somalia that
Yeah.
terrorizes Kenyans, like the Kenyan
Kidnappings and everything.
kidnappings and all that good stuff. That doesn't mean that is not gonna make me hate a person from Somalia. Like, most of them are actually like 99% of even white people, of even black people. Oh, a good percentage. I don't want to give it percentages.
Right.
Mostly good people.
I
Right?
agree.
I don't see why the hate. why the freaking hate, man?
I think
everybody
it's easier. Hate is easier than understanding.
Yeah.
Because understanding requires you to check some things in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you hate somebody, you don't got to change nothing to hate somebody. You can be you. You can be exactly who you are, who you woke up with, and who you woke up to, and who you go to bed as. You can still hate the same way. But for me to like you, or for you to like me, or for us to like anybody else, we have to reconcile things within history, within our lives, within our perceptions, and be willing to change that and know that we were wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest holdup, is just lack of humility. Because you got to humble yourself. Like,
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Different humbles, but humble either
Yeah.
way. Just I mean, it's and long standing. I want to just say that my perspective changed a lot as soon as I stopped being a religious man.
Yeah.
My perspective just opened up, and right now I'm trying to read into I'm doing so I practice patience, meditating and stuff like that. Self-compassion workbook. Do you know what self-compassion is?
No,
It's
I've
like
never heard the term.
The better version.
I understand what the two words are individually, but not
It's the better version of self-esteem.
self-compassion.
Yeah, just
something I have to look
be
into.
nice to yourself. Like,
I try to.
yeah, like when you screw up, right? Like, screw up all the time. But if a friend screws up, you'll be like, you'll be fine. Life will be, dude, lift your shoulders up. But when I screw up, I'm like, oh man, you're a fucking dweeb. God, you're useless. You treat yourself
real
so
shit.
bad. Like, I mean, it's holding yourself to a higher standard, but we're just, but yeah.
Being compassionate to yourself to a
being
higher
compassionate.
standard.
Yeah. I'm trying to change it up. I want to see whatever. Just explore eat all the foods in America, man. We're so diverse. Get
Especially
out there.
tacos. Tacos are great.
Dude, I love tacos. I love avocado.
I think every racial group likes tacos. Maybe a different ingredient in the taco. But everybody likes it. Let's finish on this, because this is you kind of stumbled back into it when you mentioned religion, and this was in relative to the snake and everything else. Now you have you got a fear of snakes. You're terrified of snakes,
Yeah.
but you have both the factual reason to be terrified of snakes, because in Africa. Half the snakes out there will fucking kill you.
Dude, yeah.
Right? But there's also a religion myth reason.
All right, I'm going to clear this up.
Okay,
for
so
you.
do you tell me the snake story? We're going to end on the snake story.
So when we were young, right? Okay, so first of all, you're right. And there's a green mamba, there's a black mamba, there's a pythons. My cousin got chased by a cobra while he was getting eggs. Because I guess snakes do love eggs.
Snakes love eggs.
Yeah, so they have like a little thing with chicken, and he went to like grab, and then the cobra perked up and
Jesus!
chased him out of the freaking. That was because a cobra, you have like, I don't know, I think 8 minutes.
Oh, once you get bit?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fast acting venom. Probably not the fastest. I think the mambas
are
potency
faster.
or the potency of their venom, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could be completely wrong, whatever. But I think it's more potent. But I think the cobras are maybe a little bit more aggressive and
Cobras are aggressive. They're
Yeah.
very and they will chase you, and they will chase you, and they can spit too, I think.
some breeds of them. There is a spitting cobra. There's a thing they spit in your eyes. and
Fucking A, man.
blind
I
you.
hate like that. So there's that. And then there was a myth when we were young that, first of all, snakes never die. Their heart is in their tail. And another snake can come and spit on another snake if it's dead, and the snake will come alive.
Jesus
So I
Christ.
believed this until I was like in 6th or 7th grade.
Holy shit.
So now there's that. And then the religion part, because the devil is the snake and da-da-da. So my whole life, I know snakes are harmless,
Right.
but my mind does not connect that.
Right. That's crazy.
So I would run from, like, it's the same thing with people and spiders.
Right. You're gonna when we get done, we're gonna go upstairs. You said you wanted to touch my. That sounds dirty. You're not. You wanted to touch my snake. We're not gonna do the big snake because it's gigantic. And then she just ate, so she's not good time to touch it. But I've got a smaller 4 to 5 foot snake
Yeah,
upstairs.
that sounded really dirty. But yeah,
We'll get her out and let
yeah,
you-
I'll mess with this. Yeah, man, that's gonna be so hard, man.
completely non-venomous snake.
Oh,
Moses, thank you for coming in and having this conversation. This is, when we first started talking, when I first met you,
Yeah.
I liked you, and when I first got the idea of having you on the podcast, I thought it was going to be interesting.
yeah,
It's 100 times better than what I thought it was.
it's love at first sight.
I told you, I love having conversations where we're talking to people who've either traveled to other places or from
Yeah.
other places because
We didn't even hit the Mexico, and like there was
we'll
so
save
much
that
to
one
talk
for the
about. Yeah,
we'll save that one for the next time out. You're experiencing the other culture that you got to
Oh.
go to and the whole thing. But I
Yeah.
really appreciate it, man, and,
Hey,
and
no
thank
problem,
you for taking
man.
the time, man. I'm happy to know you. I'm glad we're friends.
Going to Game of Thrones now.
Right on. Well, there we go. Another episode of the Filter Free America podcast has come to an end. And did I promise you that it was going to be a great episode? Didn't I tell you that it was going to be a wonderful conversation between two human beings sharing their existence on a planet, me asking questions, him educating me, us having fun with it, appreciating our differences, finding our commonalities. That to me is beautiful. I'm not a really big, woo-woo type, lovey-dovey type guy, right? But I really appreciate it. I really felt bonded with Moses, and I feel like a better human being for that conversation. I really, really do. I hope you who listened to it, I hope you were able to take something, even part or in total, from the podcast, and I hope that you feel better about yourself, or maybe I've changed a negative perspective that you had about immigration or something. I hope you left with something good, if nothing other than just a laugh, right? Just take time, consider your fellow human being, right? So big thank you to Moses. Another shout out to his rugby team, the St. Cloud Feeders. St. Cloud Feeders. I don't know what your chant is. Go St. Cloud Feeders. His rugby team. But yeah, I really appreciate that. And I'm very thankful that Moses made time to sit down and have that conversation with me because I thought it was really, really dope. Also, don't forget the next episode of the Filter Free America podcast is going to be amazing. It's going to be tragic. It's going to be hard to listen to, right? But it's going to have some very graphic details. So prepare yourselves for that. But as far as scale of importance, it's definitely important. And again, I want you guys to be prepared to help push that episode, share that episode on your social media and everything else. Share every episode if you want to, but if you only get one, if you say, Joey, I'm only going to give you one share, I'm going to give you one share of one episode. I want the next episode, okay, to be the one that you share. All right? Share them all if you want to, but definitely share that next one because it is very important. Two very brave women are going to be having a conversation with me, opening up their lives and telling me something that was tragic to both of them, as you will find out. And definitely be ready for that. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Rate and subscribe to the podcast, all the places that you listen, especially if you're on iTunes. Especially iTunes. I need all the ratings and reviewings possibly can get on the iTunes. Can you do that for me? I appreciate that. All right. I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. It's already been way too long on this episode. But again, hope it was, worth your time. I think it was. Okay, so what do I always say at the end? Oh, that's right. Make sure you spade and neuter your pets and children. Keep seeking the truth. Love yourself. Love the world. Love your fellow man, your fellow human being. All right. Find a stranger that you maybe not know too well. Introduce yourself. Tell them who you are. Have a conversation with them. Learn something about somebody you don't know anything about. And I guarantee you, it'll improve you as a human being. And in connection will improve the world overall. All right, guys. I love you to death. Take care of yourselves. And I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye.